look outside and see what's going on. Try to get to that safe place as possible because as that storm moves into the area, that is exactly where you want to be. You want to be in that safe place and you don't want to be putting yourself into any further jeopardy. It looks like Unionville, Udell, you guys are near to where that tornado would be right now, moving up to the north and east, closer into Ash Grove here in the next short while. Those are the areas that we want to be kind of highly aware that the tornado potential is moving into your area right now, and eventually down the line you'll notice this warning kind of long and skinny. That's due to the kind of fast moving nature of these storms, eventually moving into the Ottumwa area for us not too long from now. You can see that moving towards Ottumwa, probably closer to about 3:30. So take time, get to that safe place if you can. Now would be the time to get to that safe place. Again, down to the south, Appanoose, Davis, Monroe, Wapello counties, a tornado warning is in effect.
If we go to Max 2 real quick, I'll show you a sort of 3D view of this storm. It is very tall, almost 50,000 feet in the air, because we have plenty of energy to push these storms well into the air. And it's this area that is in the purple and red that we're looking at for the potential for hail development. You can see it extends pretty far up. In fact, the freezing level is just about 10,000 feet today. Still pretty early in the season, so there's plenty of cold air aloft. This is a very early classic spring storm system, and so it does have plenty of potential to produce hail as a result. And this storm has produced baseball-sized hail in Centerville, just to the southwest. So folks in Ottumwa, you still have a few minutes. If you're at home, you can still put your car into the garage at this point to keep it safe from that large hail in areas in Wapello County too. If you don't live in the warned area, it may not be a bad idea if you aren't parked in your garage just to do so today too, because so far the biggest threat we've seen with these storms has been larger hail across more of eastern Iowa too. So that's what we've been watching closely, and we'll be keeping a close eye on the evolution of that. You can see the latest scans have put even more of this purple area even higher into the atmosphere. So it looks like it's not only dropping hail most likely, but continuing to regenerate it too. This storm, very, very strong.
Yeah, we've been really tracking that hail potential here for quite some time. The storms here initially, those are going to be the strongest storms that we're seeing, the ones most likely to produce that large hail. Again, we do have confirmed reports in the Centerville area of 2.5-inch hail. That's as big as a tennis ball. So again, very, very large hail possible as these storms are moving through. This particular storm that you're seeing with that tornado warning capable of up to baseball-sized hail. So do be aware that is a potential. Again, very quick-moving storms. Even if you're not seeing anything right now, you can see that Ottumwa City Camp there in the bottom corner. Ottumwa is included in this warning. Maybe you're looking outside saying, "Hey, things look fine. What's that warning doing? Why should I care?" This is why, because these are very quick moving storms, again, moving about 60 miles an hour to the north and east. That is very fast moving in terms of storm motion, and we want to make sure that you are getting to your safe place as best as possible. We'll kind of put that track back on for you again, show you exactly what areas might see this storm in the near future. Looking like we'll have anywhere from the Unionville area within about the next minute, up into Ash Grove by about 3:17. Ottumwa area talking closer to 3:25 to 3:30. Further up to the north and east, Clifland, Agency, Ashland after that 3:30 time frame. But again, this is your advanced warning now to let you know that there is the potential for a tornado right now. It is indicated radar indicated rotation, but we do have the possibility of a tornado able to touch down. We've seen some different rotations in terms of our spotters kind of observing those storms rotating.
I wonder if you can widen that radar out, Jan, because we have one other warning that's in our viewing area that I want to highlight. It covers areas of southern Tama County, northwestern Poweshiek, as well as eastern Marshall County.
Let's take Max 2. Max 2, I've got it already highlighted.
Max
there
2 is
for you.
fine. Yeah, it's mainly for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. There was some hail about an inch in diameter reported near the Newburgh area a little bit earlier. Again, you can see right along Highway 146 right now, as it's just off to the west of Tama County, just in that far, far southeastern corner of Marshall County. That's where the hail is within this storm right now. Again, it is moving toward, let's see, how fast is that storm moving? 45 miles an hour toward the northeast. So we put a storm track on that hail core once. If it holds together and crosses toward the Tama area, that would put in about 325. So again, as we've been showing you, some pretty fast movement in the storms. But again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning, mainly for that hail and some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible. That again includes northwestern areas of Poweshiek, eastern Marshall, southwestern Tama, and northeastern Jasper counties.
And that storm is one that I've been kind of keeping an eye on off air, because it has shown a little bit of a tendency perhaps to get and gain a little bit of rotation here in the lower levels. You see that in far southwestern Tama County there. This area that has the red and greens coming together, that's where we could see the storm rotating a bit. It is rotating in the upper levels for sure. That's why it's being able to produce the potential for large hail, but that threat for a tornado could start to increase here just a little bit more over the next little while. So we'll be watching that one very closely. Regardless if you're in a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning, you should still be on the lowest level of your home and keeping away from windows. And Jan has some more tips on that.
Yeah, that's a great reminder, Corey. For those that are down to the south right now in that tornado warning area, again, down towards Davis County, if we can check out Max 1, we'll show you just a couple things to keep in mind right now of what you can do to keep yourself safe when you're in that tornado warning. Get to that lowest possible level of your home, preferably a sturdy building. If you're in a mobile home or a camper, something like that, that is not going to be a safe shelter. You want to be in a sturdy building, that lowest possible level in an interior room if possible. If you can, get under something sturdy, maybe a staircase or something with extra structure like that. Cover yourself up with what you can. If you have blankets or pillows or something like that accessible and nearby, those are great tools to help kind of add a little bit of extra protection. Again, if you have enough time, maybe you're not in that warning just yet and you're watching and preparing for that potential for some storms later, put your bike helmet down there, things like that, things that can help give you that little bit of extra protection. And then again, be sure to stay there until that threat is passed. You can always find us again. We've got streaming coverage. We've got our weather app, that weather radio, have multiple reliable ways to continue to get that severe weather information. Those who are not in that warning area right now during that watch, for the rest of you, again, make sure you know where you are, know how to identify where you live on a map so that you can know as those storms are moving in and be prepared to seek shelter when necessary. Right now, though, we'll go back and kind of take that wide look at the entire area of what we're looking at. Storms continuing to spread across the area very quickly. You'll notice just in those last several minutes, kind of things exploding in coverage for us there in parts of the area along that I-35 corridor. Down to the south, though, again, including the Ottumwa area, we do have a tornado warning in effect that could also have very large hail along with it as well. Hail up to baseball size. And we do have reports already of tennis ball sized hail with this storm moving through the area. So all good things to keep in mind. Right now, this storm is moving very quickly, about 60 miles per hour to the north and east. And it does include, again, Monroe, Wapello, Davis, Appanoose counties as well, moving into the Ottumwa area, probably closer to about that 3:30 time frame. So still a couple of minutes left before it's going to make it into that area. But this is the time now that you can get to that safe place and know exactly what's and be prepared for what's going to be going on. For the most part, it does look like it's going to track over generally rural areas until it gets towards Ottumwa. So that is certainly good news. And at this time, looks like we have pretty much radar indicated rotation, not hearing anything from our spotters just yet on anything confirmed. So that also, again, is good news, but something definitely to keep an eye on. With the motion of these storms, with the speed of these storms, you don't want to wait for that confirmation or anything like that. This right here is that advanced warning to help get you to your safe place out ahead of time and make sure that you're in a good position should anything come through your area. Otherwise, again, severe thunderstorm warnings, those are continuing for us. several of them kind of across the board. Many of them much closer to that I-35 corridor. Right now, that one that we were talking about earlier that Joe mentioned towards the Tama area, including Jasper, Marshall, Poweshiek, and Tama counties, that one has 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail possible with it as well. And then also that other storm that moved through the Ames area brought them some nickel-sized hail and I think maybe up to quarter-sized hail in that area, continuing to move towards Hardin County as it slowly starts to move into eastern Iowa and the TV9 viewing area. So right now at this time, still several storms kind of just around the area, but the main one that we are concerned about is that one that is down into Wapello County, Davis County. Looks like they were just able to condense that down a little bit for us, but still keeping that warning going. So again, if you are in the Ottumwa area, now is the time to get to your safe place. Be sure that you are in that lowest possible level, and be sure that you are staying as protected as possible. Again, getting under something sturdy. If you have a bike helmet in there, something like that, towels, pillows, things like that. Try to protect yourself as best you can. Tornado, baseball-sized hail, both possible as this storm moves through, and that warning stays in effect until about 3:45 p.m. for us.
Why don't we go ahead and take Max to full screen with the Ottumwa City Cam. You can see that view of the area of most concern with this storm. We have what appears to be here on the screen. In fact, if we could pop up the green wall, if I could just go ahead and go point at something there, that would be great. The view of there is of the updraft of the storm. You can see that flat base to it. That's where we have the updraft. It's likely rotating as we've seen on radar. And then there's a couple of features to the side of it that I'm interested in keeping an eye on. That's why it's important to have the CityCam view here. You can see this flat area here. That's the updraft. So we're watching that very closely. I'm noticing just a little bit of a shape here that I just want to keep an eye on. It doesn't appear to be rotating. We're pretty far away from it, so it's not a perfect view, but you can see that there that we're going to also keep an eye on. This part of the storm is the part that would produce a tornado if it's going to. So we have a very good look on it. So for folks in Wapello County as well as northern Davis County as the storm's moving in, we'll be able to keep a close eye on it. You can see a couple of other appendages here that we'll just have to watch. These areas that could produce a tornado with this pretty large storm. As Jan's been mentioning, it's otherwise substantial in terms of its ability to produce large hailstones. So that's one thing that we'll be looking at.
Yeah, if we want to head back to Max 1 here, right now we're continuing to watch all those storms moving through the area. And one thing that you might be thinking to yourself as you're looking and you notice all those severe thunderstorm warnings is, well, I thought we were under a tornado watch. Well, these storms are just now starting to move into the area that kind of has the best ingredients for those storms to really get rotating and get that potential for tornadoes. Something you might hear us talk about sometimes is shear or the specific type of winds that those storms need in order to form and in order to intensify. And again, as they're moving into eastern Iowa, here is where they have the right ingredients for those storms to intensify. So that's something that we're continuing to watch is that potential as they're moving into eastern Iowa. Something we've talked about, those backing winds as they go up into the atmosphere, basically just meaning the direction and the speed of those winds changing. And that's something that we're watching as those storms are moving in. So right now, there's severe thunderstorm warnings, but something we're watching as they are kind of individual cells that they could become tornadic. Any of those could.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday too. If they stayed in those individual cells, that's when things, like you said, can get a bit more spinny and rotatey, and that's why we're keeping an eye on it that way. But if they start to congeal into a line, then we could start to see damaging winds become a bit more of a threat.
Exactly.
We just haven't seen that yet, though.
Yeah,
These have been staying isolated.
Yeah, and right now that isolated threat certainly kind of the concern for us with the tornado, the very large hail. Later, as these storms kind of evolve, that's typically what we see is them kind of becoming that line and more so into that wind threat. Do you want to kind of highlight the northern side of that same storm that we were watching for that potential for a tornado? It looks like they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning, kind of that same storm, but just a little bit further along. Again, that's for still 60-mile-an-hour winds and baseball-sized hail for that storm that is kind of just to the north of where that tornado warning is. Kind of hard to highlight it as machine wants to highlight the tornado warning specifically, but do know that even if you're not in that tornado warning, even off to the north of that, still could see some very large hail, as well as gusty winds moving through the area. This for Wapello County, as well as parts of Monroe, Davis, Mahaska counties. Also as it's moving through. But the main thing to highlight here again is that potential for a tornado. We're watching kind of that wall cloud, that lowering in the clouds where we could see some rotation possible, and that's what we're watching. Even though we haven't seen anything officially reported here just yet, this is the advanced warning to help get you to your safe place so that you are where you need to be should a tornado happen for this area. We'll take a little bit of a wider look yet again and show you those couple of warnings. Looks like the one up into Tama County has kind of been condensed down just a little bit. Looks like it's still, though, for 60-mile-an-hour winds as well as quarter-sized hail. So again, right now kind of on that quote-unquote lower level threat. But let's go to Corey. I think we're looking at something on the city cams maybe.
Well, I think we're actually just going to sort of take an overall view of the tornado watch that we have in effect and sort of the emphasis on what's really going on today and why the risk is so high. So this is a tornado watch in effect until 8 o'clock today across the area. It is called a particularly dangerous situation across the region, according to the Storm Prediction Center. And that is a special elevation of a watch that they include in there to indicate that we do have an elevated risk of especially intense severe weather. That includes strong tornadoes, damaging winds, and very large hail. We've seen the very large hail so far. Fortunately, so far in the state, we have not seen the tornadoes. But in terms of the severe weather risk, this pink area you see highlighted hasn't changed since earlier this afternoon when it got placed there by the Storm Prediction Center. That's the top level risk that they put out. It's a relatively rare thing called a high risk. We haven't had one in Iowa for almost 9 years and haven't had one that has included this much of the TV9 viewing area for a little bit longer than that. So it's not something that we see very often, and that's why we do take it pretty seriously across the area when these types of words are used by the Storm Prediction Center. It's just the degree of the ingredients that we have in place that is the big concern, and they're still in place, and that's why we are concerned. New severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for a good portion of Poweshiek and Tama counties. This goes until 4 o'clock this afternoon. The storm moving to the northeast. It's a big cluster of storms. You can see two individual clusters of lightning within that larger area of thunderstorm activity. We'll actually pause the radar here for a second so we can add a storm track. There is the potential for half dollar sized hail with this storm and 60 mile per hour winds as it moves to the northeast. It is also moving at about 65 miles per hour, so it is starting to pick up speed actually a little bit compared to some of the other ones we've seen. We'll add a storm track for the most dangerous portion of the storm as it shifts to the northeast. Near Grinnell, about 327. That's on the far western edge of the TV9 viewing area. Toward Malcolm at 338. Brooklyn at 345. Toward Chelsea and Tama County at 346. And Belle Plaine, which I believe is not technically included in this warning, but at 354 toward the end of the extent of that warning. That's when that storm will get there too. The storm, especially the one that is down toward Pella at this point, the southern edge of this warning, has also shown a little bit of rotation. Not enough that the National Weather Service chose to go with a tornado warning here, but it's this little hook appendage down near Pella that we're keeping an eye on with that as well. You can see a bit of that there, a little bit of that shape that we watch out for. And it's showing some signs of rotation. At this point, it's not well defined in terms of it being tornadic. So that's one area we'll be watching, though. It's just about to move into the TV9 viewing area to the northeast from there.
Yeah, definitely. All things that we continue to watch here, you know, all those special kind of shapes that we're looking at in the radar, things that we're continuing to track. And again, these storms, while they are just severe thunderstorms right now, which absolutely take seriously, they are moving into an environment more favorable for that rotation and for them to intensify. So that's something that we're continuing to watch. If we can take a look at Max 1, that'd be great. We can show you kind of one of the things that we're looking at with the hail with these storms. Again, we'll take a look down at that southern storm, the one that has a tornado warning on it. You can kind of see that hail path all the way since it's been over the Missouri border as it's moved into eastern Iowa and up towards Ottumwa. And we've had a couple different reports near the Centerville area, actually, of of ping pong, of tennis ball sized hail. A couple different reports of that coming in. We've also had several reports of various storms. Again, the one that we were talking about up into Ames and Story County that had anywhere up to about 1/4-inch hail, ping pong ball sized hail, golf ball sized hail also. So several different storms that we are watching for that potential for large hail, along with that potential for future rotation as they're moving into that more favorable environment. So again, that storm that is over Ottumwa right now, that one has had a history of producing some large hail. It is warned up to baseball-sized hail possible, but we could again see a tornado possible with that. The rotation is something that we're continuing to watch here. And it has a history of having several large hail reports. It does look like we're getting in a report of a funnel cloud from this tornadic warned storm here. So that storm that's moving towards Ottumwa, we have a chaser report of a funnel cloud and a rotating wall cloud from his particular location. So that storm continuing to track to the north and east, again, moving very quickly. That's why this is such a kind of heightened awareness situation, because of the fast moving nature of these storms and the possibility of them producing tornadoes, all important things that we are continuing to watch. If we can maybe flip the picture-in-picture and look at that city cam, I just kind of want to get a better look if I can, at what exactly we're looking at, see if we can see anything maybe from our camera itself. I don't know if you're seeing anything there, Corey, at all.
Where was the funnel cloud reported? I'm sorry.
On that Wapello storm.
Okay.
So I'm not seeing anything there ourselves, but again, kind of tough to tell with these storms, which also goes to show why you don't want to just go outside and wait until you see something, because you may not see something because of all the rain, because of the nature of these storms and all the moisture that's with them. We may not be able to see anything until the storm is there. So not looking like we're getting any great help from our visuals there just yet.
Yeah, we're on the side of the storm we're losing a little bit of light on this particular portion of the storm because of the incredibly dense area of rain and hail likely falling to the right of your screen. But as we look to the left edge here, you can see that there's some pretty fast motion in the clouds for sure. From our perspective, we don't see a particular funnel cloud here, but that storm chaser did, and they may, like Jan said, probably have a better look at it from a different angle with different lighting that gives you a slightly different picture. As it's good to have both human eyes on it as well as these wider views. But you can see, if you look very closely, the picture does include a little bit of, in the background, clouds moving from right to left, and the foreground up by the banner that says Ottumwa City Cam, of them moving left to right. So that entire storm is rotating, I would say, pretty safely. It could be this area in the middle here that looks a little bit, perhaps a bit more ominous. So I'm going to zoom in just a bit to take a closer look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of the above, and that's why we say it's the best idea to get in shelter now. This storm is strongly rotating, both on radar and from visual confirmation. That storm chaser also reporting that rotation. Just in general, it is a supercell thunderstorm, really the largest storm of the day that we've seen so far.
Yeah, exactly. And when we are getting those reports of rotation, even up aloft, that just shows the strength of those storms and the fact that we could get that lower level rotation again as they move into a more favorable environment for that. So again, while we're not seeing anything necessarily on there right now, still a good idea to get to your safe place. So let's take a wider look, remind everybody why we're on, why we've kind of taken over programming here. This is the wide picture across the area. A large portion of eastern Iowa starting to see those storms moving in and kind of developing very quickly. Again, those storms kind of rushing into the area. But as we look down towards the Ottumwa, that's where that tornado warning is. Looks like we still have that again, radar indicated tornado warning, Davis, Wapello counties. That does include the Ottumwa area. So please, if you are watching from Ottumwa or know somebody there, make sure that they're in their safe place now, as the kind of strongest parts of the storms are approaching, as they are moving to the northeast very quickly as well. Right now, moving about 60 miles per hour at last check, and they have had the history of producing very large hail. We've had reports of up to tennis ball sized hail. With these storms, could produce up to baseball sized hail, according to that warning from the National Weather Service. Looks like we're also seeing some reports with those other storms that we were looking at in other parts of the area coming in with quarter or ping pong ball sized hail possibly, along with very strong winds. So again, all of those kind of hazards that we've been talking about, the strong winds, everything kind of coming through for us as those storms have been moving through the area. Looking back to the south, you can see more of those severe thunderstorms kind of drifting in. We'll put that back into motion for you. So the area down towards Ottumwa, Davis County, looking like more storms will be continuing to follow. So it could be an intense next short while as these storms continue to move through the area. Again, you'll notice that very fast motion, moving anywhere from about 50 to 60 miles per hour on any one particular storm. That tornadic storm there, where it is radar indicated rotation, we are still seeing that potential, and it does look like the National Weather Service is going to continue that warning. Still radar indicated rotation, still the potential for up to baseball sized hail, and again that warning for us until 3:45 at this time for that radar indicated rotation, moving now basically over the Ottumwa area, and eventually then up into Lake Wapello State Park, Eldon as well. Part of that agency, you're probably going to see this storm here very soon, if not, in the next minute or so. Are we seeing anything more from our storm? Looks like maybe the rain has arrived.
Yeah, the rain and hail is certainly moving into the Ottumwa area, so we're probably going to get a little more obscuration here from our city cam view. Oh, sorry, got a little out of control there, but yeah, we're just keeping an eye on it. Certainly plenty of rotation, as you mentioned. Meteorologist Joe Winters, if you got your eyes on anything additional back there for this storm?
No, quite honestly not. The Davis County portion of the warning is done as the storm has moved out of Davis County, but ragged looking sky, as you were pointing out, some movement here and there in the clouds, but nothing that we could see. Certainly some heavier rain starting to move into the Ottumwa area right now. Not seeing any hail, but I bet there's a little bit of hail mixed in as well. I had numerous reports of the storm that moved through Ames, of some hail that covered the ground, and more hail reports right now. Does look like we'll have to watch probably the next hour and a half as these storms continue to move northeast. Could see these storms start to intensify a bit. So that's really what we need to kind of keep our eye on. Don't say, hey, guess what, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, we haven't seen anything yet. The storms haven't moved through yet. So let's give them time to progress off toward the east-northeast and see how they move. Again, we have that severe thunderstorm warning that still extends across southern areas of Tama County. From that cell you've been watching, has had numerous hail reports within it, as you mentioned, up to about ping pong ball size, it looks like, from some of the reports that have come in from that cell. And again, we'll continue to watch. The atmosphere is still plenty available for some strong storms as we head through the next several hours, as this whole line lifts off toward the east-northeast, at times up to about 65 miles per hour.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, is that, we still have plenty of the storm ingredients available in the atmosphere as these storms are moving into eastern Iowa, that they could intensify right now. Not seeing necessarily a lot of signs of any intensification on this particular storm, but another good thing, good reminder, is in the last several minutes, remember from when we started and we were looking at our Ottumwa City Cam and how we had blue skies overhead. You can kind of see that storm in the distance. And now it is, that rain moving in very quickly for those areas. Looks like we did just get a new tornado warning, a kind of extension of that one that we've been tracking here for some time. into the TV9 viewing area. Jefferson, Keokuk, Washington counties included in this, and this particular warning does include Sigourney. That will stay in effect until 4:15. Again, kind of an extension of that same storm that we've been tracking from the Ottumwa area, now moving into Keokuk, Jefferson counties, also Washington County, with that radar indicated rotation, something that they continue to watch. And again, in Sigourney right now, if you're looking outside saying, it looks fine, there's a little bit of sunshine overhead, know that these storms are moving through quickly, and that the atmosphere is going to change very quickly. This particular storm moving about 65 miles per hour, so very fast movement on that storm. That alone, plus the storm motion of 65 miles per hour, could see some strong winds moving through, along with that potential for a tornado. Let's add a little bit of a storm track here for you, as that storm kind of now moving past just beyond the Ottumwa area. Looks like Hedrick, you could see this storm by about 3:45, Martinsburg 3:48, Lancaster about 3:56, Sigourney area just around that 4 o'clock hour, Harper just beyond at 4:05, Keota around 4:09. So again, we continue to track that storm that we've been watching here for some time, as it's moving kind of largely through the Ottumwa area, and then it will eventually kind of push into this area. That's where that next tornado warning is. Sigourney, Kings Cross, just to North English, kind of right on the northern fringe of that particular warning. So again, we'll kind of widen things out, show you the bigger picture as that storm, if it continued on its track, moving up towards the I-80 corridor and the Iowa City area as well.
We're going to switch our view to Sigourney from Max 3, where, as Jan was describing, they're pretty still distant from the storm, but seeing rain at least falling at this point. They are in the area of the storm that could see additional large hail falling too relatively soon. You can see there the pavement starting to get wet. Dark skies to the southwest. That's our storm that we're most concerned about moving through the area. And it's the storm that still shows very strong rotation as it passes through Ottumwa. No reports of a tornado in the Ottumwa area. Excuse me. Obviously, that's a very populated area, so we would hear if something had happened there, and we've had our city cam on. But areas including Sigourney, as well as much of Keokuk County, next in line for this.
Yeah, so still continuing to track everything on the big picture there. Do want to kind of take another step back, though. Again, if you're tuning in saying things look fine outside right now, why are you on? Well, we do have a tornado watch all across eastern Iowa that stays in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. That is for the potential for strong tornadoes, damaging wind, and large hail. Now, as these storms continue to move into eastern Iowa, they're entering that more favorable environment for kind of intensification. And again, these storms are moving very quickly. That's one of the big reasons we've had such a heightened awareness on this system, is that they're moving so quickly that by the time that warning is issued, you need to react very quickly, almost immediately, to get to that safe place so that you're there and prepared by the time the storm does get into your area. So again, while Cedar Rapids, Iowa City currently looking okay, Dubuque area as well, and also even up towards Waterloo, starting to see some of those storms up into the Waterloo area, but nothing severe warned up there. At this point, the strongest of the storms are in the southern half of the area, anywhere kind of along and south of Highway 30 and into kind of just east of that I-35 corridor is looking at that potential for the storms right now. So we have several of those severe thunderstorm warnings to the south, down towards the Ottumwa area. Again, that other severe thunderstorm warning up towards Tama. Looks like National Weather Service has just kind of issued a new thunderstorm warning. Wapello County still looking at that potential for baseball-sized hail, as well as some radar-indicated rotation on the northern side of that storm. But now areas like down towards Bloomfield could also see that potential for some strong or large hail as well. This particular warning looks like anywhere up to about $0.50 sized hail. So again, just kind of a very good environment for those storms down towards Wapello, Davis counties, moving to the north and east. So several different warnings kind of in effect there. Big takeaway is get to that lowest possible level, get to that safe place, and seek that shelter if you are able to. And again, out ahead of these storms, even if they're not there yet, be sure you're ready to seek shelter quickly if need be. Okay, take the time now to know where you're going, what you're going to be doing. If you don't have that safe shelter nearby, try to get into a place that you will have that safe shelter easily accessible to you as these storms move through. We're going to zoom back into that tornado warning here. Again, as it's moving into eastern Iowa. So that does include Sigourney, North English, just on the northern side of this system. Last update was that it was near the Hedrick area, about 8 miles to the northeast of Ottumwa, and moving northeast at about 65 miles per hour. So very quick motion with these storms as they are moving through. Looks like...
Yeah, that's the same storm,
Yep.
but they're just reissuing that warning about to expire in Wapello County. So if we go to max 2 real quick, we'll take a look here of this new tornado warning. It's for areas just northeast of Ottumwa, includes mostly rural areas, but it's a confirmed tornado, according to the National Weather Service at this point. They have had that confirmed. I'm going to see if it was spotters. Weather spotters have an eye on it. So weather spotters seen a tornado in rural areas of Wapello County near Hedrick, or 8 miles northeast of Ottumwa. It's moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. So let's add a storm track to that now that we have a tornado here apparently going on in this area. And we'll actually put the velocity scan on here too, just so we know what we're looking at. Yeah, it's this strong area of rotation that you can see in the middle of the screen. And also there's a little bit of a weak area there in the middle of the otherwise rain, and that's usually a good indication of where the rotation is taking place too. So if you live in Farson, it's at 346 entering your area, and Martinsburg, which is not in this warning but is in the other warning, that will arrive by 349. This storm now producing a tornado. It's the first one of the day that we've had in the state of Iowa, and it is particularly dangerous for that reason. It's shown very strong rotation over the last couple of radar scans too. So definitely one, if you haven't sought that shelter already, to do so very, very soon.
Yeah, so then again, just a reminder with what we're dealing with here, Wapello County, as well as up into Jefferson, Keokuk, Washington counties. That is a tornado warning now has been confirmed in Wapello County, and it is moving up to the north and east very quickly. So just past the Ottumwa area right now, but if you are in Sigourney, if you're in North English, those areas, do get to your safe shelter immediately. Please take us with you. Again, you can find our coverage several places. We've got it streaming on YouTube. We've got it streaming on our website as well. It looks like we also now have a severe thunderstorm warning in northern Iowa. So we'll jump up there for you, Chickasaw, Floyd, Howard, Mitchell counties. So again, this is far northeastern Iowa at this time. Now a severe thunderstorm warning for a storm that is moving north about 45 miles per hour, located near Elma and about 11 miles northwest of New Hampton. That could have a quarter-sized hail with it. So I do want our viewers in that part of the area to know that we do have a severe thunderstorm warning there. But the main thing that we're tracking is that tornado warning, again, moving through Wapello, Jefferson, Keokuk, Washington counties at this time. Does look like now that with the latest update that we got in from the National Weather Service, that weather spotters have confirmed a tornado with that, also baseball-sized hail possible. So again, the part of that storm that we're watching for that tornado down to the south, largely over rural areas, fortunately. But there are a couple areas as it's moving to the north. Hedrick is one of those that we've been tracking for that potential as that tornadic storm moves to the north along Highway 78, Highway 149, Highway 21 as you head up towards Sigourney. Those are areas, if you're in those areas watching, that now would be the time to get to your safe place.
Take a look at Max 2 real quick. Same view of the same storm, but with a different application on top of it. This weaker area that you see, and I'll circle here on your screen, this area right here is where the tornado is taking place. This is our ability to detect that it's putting something up into the air that's other than precipitation, surrounded by precipitation, so it's going to be hard to see as it approaches your area. But it is a very dangerous situation. Looks like it could be a rather large tornado based just on that data. It's a little bit far away from the radar, but we still do see strong rotation. In fact, it looks like we may have a bit of an indication of some debris on radar too, just from our overall reflectivity view. So yeah, that storm very dangerous as it enters southern portions of Keokuk County. Really need you to enter shelter now if you're in that area as it shifts to the northeast. So far, this storm has tapped into the potential atmosphere that we have today, and it really has strengthened quickly over the past 20 to 30 minutes. Farson at 347, Pekin at 353, and Ollie at 357. If you are near the Manhattan-Bridge County Park area, 359 is about when that storm and its tornado will be moving into your region.
Just trying to see if we can find any visual confirmation, but it's not looking like we're able to right now. So, yeah, looking at the radar imagery, that's kind of the best we can look at right now, as well as knowing that we do have spotter confirmation of the tornadic threat out there. Again, observed tornado confirmed by weather spotters moving through Wapello County. That's the kind of northeasternmost portion of Wapello County, and moving eventually up into Jefferson, Keokuk, and Washington counties. Again, that is an observed tornado as it's moving up beyond Ottumwa and closer into the Sigourney area right now. We've been watching that kind of velocity picture. That's something anywhere you're seeing those reds and those greens close by, that's somewhere that we're watching for that potential for some rotation. So something that we're watching here, and it has been confirmed by weather spotters that there is a tornado on the ground. As Corey just showed you there, what we're looking at there is that potential for some debris. So what this particular thing is looking at is anywhere that you're seeing uncorrelated things in the sky. So that's something that would be debris, because raindrops all look alike. Debris doesn't necessarily look alike. So that's something that the radar is picking up on for us as well, and that we're continuing to track. So again, this is down into Wapello County, moving now just into Jefferson, Keokuk, Washington County. If you're in those areas, now is the time to get to your shelter. Again, this is south of Sigourney right now, moving up towards Highway 78, Highway 21, 149, 77 as well. Again, those all south of Sigourney that we're watching at this time.
Very near Martinsburg. If you live in or near the Martinsburg area in southern Keokuk County, that's right west of the intersection of Highway 149 and 78. As you can see there on the screen, that's the area that this storm is really going to pass nearby. Hedrick, you're also very close to it. It may pass just to your southeast, but we still want you in shelter just in case. Sometimes tornadoes can go into a pattern where they kind of loop back a little bit. That would be during a weakening phase typically, but still could cause damage, and sometimes they just behave in ways that you don't anticipate. So it's better safe than sorry in this case.
Yep. So now again, Martinsburg, Hedrick, as Corey just mentioned, you can see Ollie there kind of off to the side. All of those areas definitely need to be in your safe place, but this is that area that we're looking at for kind of the most intense potential right now as the storm continues to track to the north and east. We'll add on that storm track for you yet again, show you exactly.
Yeah, the National Weather Service in the Quad Cities, which is entering their area of responsibility from the Des Moines Weather Service. They just described it as large and extremely dangerous, still referring to it as confirmed. I believe that they're basing that on spotter reports. There's clearly storm spotters on it. Yep, storm spotters still on it. So they're calling it a particularly dangerous situation for the areas of Keokuk, northwestern, and Washington counties and northwestern Jefferson counties, right in the area that Jan's been highlighting.
Yeah, so that would be Martinsburg. Anywhere within the next several minutes, get to your safe place now. If you're in Martinsburg, if you know somebody in the Martinsburg area, let them know that a dangerous situation is unfolding as a confirmed tornado is on the ground. Anywhere near the South Skunk River State Wildlife Area, Lancaster, you're in for around 4 o'clock. Several different areas that we're tracking as that tornado, again, on the ground. South of Sigourney right now, moving through. That's Hedrick, Martinsburg areas that we've been tracking here within the last short while. I'm going to try to, let's check the latest storm motion. So still moving about 50 miles per hour for us. So just making sure that our storm motions are still accurate for us right now. Get those updated. Yeah, so Martinsburg area, definitely be in your safe place. Get to your safe place if you are not, and if you know somebody from that area, again, kind of along Highway 78, that's in the southern part of Keokuk County. That would be the time to get to your safe place now, Martinsburg area. Sigourney, you've got still a couple of minutes out ahead of this next system. Or this storm, but by about 4:05, again, pretty quick motion. So next 15 minutes or so, we'll be up into your area as well. So this is your advanced warning, Sigourney, to get to your safe place, get to that lowest possible level, and get to under something sturdy if you can. Maybe there's a staircase. We talk about a bathtub having that kind of cavity that you can be in. That would also be a good idea. At this point, that storm kind of just exiting Wapello County, just kind of on the border for us at this time as it's moving into Keokuk County and along Highway 78. That's the Martinsburg and Hedrick area that we're looking at for these storms right now. I'm going to widen things out here again, take a little bit of a broader picture. Again, just want everybody to know that we are still tracking storms all across the area while we are focusing a lot on that confirmed tornado down on the ground, moving out of Wapello County up into Keokuk County at this time. We do have several other severe thunderstorm warnings also in place in parts of the area. That does include this one for quarter-sized hail, Chickasaw, Floyd, Howard, Mitchell counties, as well as this storm just to the south for Benton, Buchanan, and Iowa counties. It looks like maybe we just had a new update come in. So we'll click on that and see what we've got. Looks like
it's kind of an
quarter-sized hail, yeah.
Odd-shaped severe thunderstorm warning, just because it's kind of, again, right between Des Moines and Quad Cities area, so they kind of have to cope with that. But it's for the cluster of storms near Tama.
Yep, so that same storm, and there's that the tornado warning for that Tama storm that, Corey, you were kind of watching that a little while ago, looking at the shape of that storm. Mm-hmm. Looks like a tornado warning for Tama County, that in effect until 4:45. Moving northeast only about 35 miles per hour. This is radar indicated rotation at this time, again for the southeastern part of Tama County in central Iowa as it's moving into eastern Iowa. And that storm near Chelsea around 4:05, near Vining at around 4:10. Other areas that may be impacted, Cutler as well as Elberon. So if you're in those areas, please seek shelter now. Again, we're kind of starting to get this kind of mess of storms as they're moving into the area, a mess of warnings as well as we're kind of going between two different National Weather Service offices. So the Des Moines office as well as the Davenport office is kind of warning on these storms and coordinating, but it does look like there's a lot going on. The main thing to keep in mind is anywhere along here we could see some intense winds, some large hail. And then there is that tornado warning again for the Tama area right now and moving to the northeast. That includes Cutler, that includes Elberon as well. We'll let's see if we can look at the velocity picture.
Yep, to be that area just south of Tama.
Yep. So if we put on a track there, if the track wants to work, there we go. And actually, I guess I need to, because that storm motion was slower, wasn't it, Corey?
It was about 35 miles per hour, so
Okay.
significantly slower than the last storm. But that is where there's been a little bit of a report of funnel cloud, as well as things moving rather quickly and evolving pretty quickly here too.
Yeah, so even though that that specific storm moving a little slower, if you're in Gladstone around 4 o'clock, next 5 minutes, that possible tornado could be near you. Vining by about 4:10, the Salt Creek Wildlife Area, Elberon between 4:10 and 4:20, Keystone around 4:26. So if you're in those areas watching again, Tama, Gladstone, Vining, Elberon, Keystone, now is the time to get to your safe place. Looks like there's another new severe thunderstorm warning. That one also kind of encompassed within that. Yeah, so just to the south of that tornado warning that we were watching. And you're also kind of seeing that classic.
It's going to pop up here in a second, but
yeah.
they decided to go with the tornado warning
I was going to
instead.
say, that one looks like it probably should be. So not surprised by that one. Glad that they updated to a tornado warning there, because it definitely looked like what it would be. So Poweshiek County, Tama County, both under a tornado warning now. Let's kind of set that track on there. Do you have the storm motion on that one by chance?
Moving northeast at 55
Okay,
this time.
that one's much faster. So let's get that updated for everybody. This storm, again, that's Poweshiek County until 4:30. Could be near Brooklyn by around 4:03, next couple of minutes. Carnforth around 4:08. Victor around 4:11. Ledora 4:17. And then again, continuing to move to the northeast from there. That one moving much quicker for us right now. So do know that we are continuing to watch all of those storms moving through the area. That's now 3 tornado warnings that we have in effect across eastern Iowa at this time. So several different warnings that we're tracking.
Yeah, and in fact, let's go to Max 2. Let's focus on the one that's in the far south, where it's still in effect for Keokuk and Washington counties until 4:15. That's for the tornado that we know that is on the ground. The latest report from the National Weather Service of just a few minutes ago, that it was located near Lancaster, or just east or south of Sigourney, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So this storm track would take you into that area. If you live near Talleyrand, 4:12 will be the time that it could approach your area. Keota around 4:15, Westchester at 4:22, and Lexington at 4:24. Wellman closer to 4:26. I'm not certain that Wellman's actually in this warning, but again, this storm has maintained its strength for some time at this point, still showing indication that it has a tornado on the ground thanks to spotter reports as well as radar data that we can see from afar as well. So this storm has been pretty significant. It has been the most intense storm of the day. And so it's still a very, very serious situation. If you live in those areas, you absolutely need to get in safe shelter now. Stay away from exterior walls. Stay on the lowest floor of your home too. That's where we see the biggest threat for severe weather and tornadoes right now in the area, with a confirmed tornado on the ground.
All right, with so much going on, we're going to take a wider picture. If we can go back to Max 1, we'll kind of look at everything as a whole again. So live pinpoint Doppler radar right now showing several different warnings in effect. Again, there are some tornado warnings. There are also severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing right now. So let's do that recap. Here we have that tornado warning down to the south. That includes parts of Wapello, moving out of Wapello County now, and now into Keokuk County, as well as parts of Washington County. For us at this time, that one is moving near the Sigourney area, and that is a confirmed tornado. So if you're in Sigourney, please get to your safe place now. We also have a couple of warnings there for Tama County. That one is radar indicated rotation, a tornado warning there. Also a tornado warning for Poweshiek County for, again, radar indicated rotation and a possible tornado. If you're in Tama County, Poweshiek County, Washington or Keokuk counties, please get to your safe space now. That means a lower level, a sturdy sturdy structure in an interior-most room without windows. There are also several severe thunderstorm warnings in place for us right now. Again, one down towards the Ottumwa area that could produce 60-mile-an-hour winds, half-dollar-sized hail. Traveling to the north, we'll kind of just go north up that line. 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail possible for parts of Poweshiek, Blackhawk, Marion, Tama, Mahaska, Jasper County as well. Buchanan County, Benton County, northwestern Iowa County for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Further to the north, that northernmost storm that we have, quarter-sized hail with that storm, and that one moving a little bit slower. But you can also see as we kind of put things into motion that there's that main line that has all those warnings right now. There's also kind of a secondary line forming just along that I-35 corridor that we'll continue to watch. So even after things calm down, as things move through, know that there could still be some more active weather coming back in. So
the good news is that second line, that's the last of it.
Yes.
That's the boundary that's going to be pushing in drier air, significantly drier air, and then eventually colder air. We have the threat for some snow in parts of the state tonight into early tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's kind of been underscored a little bit, I think, just because we've been very focused, and rightfully so, on making sure that you're prepared for the warnings that we'll be seeing here today. But could see a much cooler, a blustery day tomorrow, as well as that possibility for a little bit of light snow by tomorrow morning. Looks like we now have a tornado warning issued just to the west of the Cedar Rapids area. So that one includes Benton and Iowa counties right now. We'll get the latest information from that. Looks like that one for southern Benton County, northwestern Iowa County until 4:45. That storm is moving northeast around 55 miles per hour. So again, a quick moving storm, and that is a confirmed tornado for us. So do know that we are looking at the potential as that storm moves into the area of a damaging storm moving through. Confirmed tornado over Brooklyn, around 9 miles north of Montezuma, moving northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So let's go zoom into Brooklyn here. That's that storm we were tracking earlier in Poweshiek County, and they're kind of warning out ahead. So again, Iowa, Benton County, you're not under the gun just yet, but that storm is moving out of Poweshiek County and into your area, and it is a confirmed tornado. So now is the time to get into your safe place. Let's put that storm cone on there. Check out the storm motion. Yep, that all looks good. So Brooklyn area in the next couple of minutes again. That's where it was last noted. And then moving to the north and east, Victor area by, between 4:10, 4:15, Ledora 4:20, Luzerne by about 4:25, Marengo just before 4:30, moving through very quickly. This storm, again, moving very quickly for us, 55 miles per hour. So as that storm kind of starts to really push into the heart of eastern Iowa and the TV9 viewing area, know that these storms are moving quickly and that you're not maybe going to have a lot of time to get to that safe place. That's why we've been warning things out ahead of time, all week, making sure that and the National Weather Service is doing a great job at kind of warning things out ahead.
I want to go to Max 2 real quick. This is kind of an important point to note as we look forward over the next couple of hours. The Storm Prediction Center occasionally issues very specific little outlooks, and they have issued one for that storm that we've been tracking since it moved near Ottumwa as moving through Keokuk County. The way they described it is that there is most likely a pretty significant tornado occurring with this storm, and it will likely continue to occur. They claim that the downstream environment from this storm as it heads northeast into areas that don't currently have a tornado warning. That includes parts of Iowa, Johnson, and Washington counties, that this storm will still have a threat for an intense tornado. So this storm moving to the northeast again at about 60 or 55 to 60 miles per hour. You really, really do need to, if you're in those areas, start to plan for this storm moving into your region. That is one thing that is going to be moving in quickly, and you won't have a lot more time to prepare from where we're at right now. So just because of that special notice given by the Storm Prediction Center, I'm just going to go ahead and give a pretty broad storm track here. I'm actually going to widen it out. You can see they just issued a new tornado warning for portions of Iowa, Johnson, and Washington counties, which we'll get into the details in just a minute. But this puts it in Parnell at 412, North English at 406, Frytown at 422, Coralville in the Coral Ridge Mall area around 430, same in Iowa City, and then closer to Solon by 441. This does include in the storm track the Cedar Rapids area. Right now I think it would track to the southeast, but there are other storms with tornadoes that are possible in that area too, and that's why things have really picked up intensity over the past hour. The tornado sirens are sounding, the outdoor warning sirens are sounding in Cedar Rapids, even though there are no warnings in effect, if I understand
Correct.
correctly.
I'm guessing that they're doing that kind of out ahead. Just again, kind of due to the fast nature of these storms. So if you just heard the outdoor warning sirens and you're tuning in, wondering what's going on, there is not currently an active warning in Cedar Rapids or Lynn County. However, we are under a tornado watch, and we are going to have that potential for strong storms moving through the area very quickly as we continue to track everything moving through. Corey was just kind of highlighting that storm that you can see there on your screen right now for Benton and Iowa, down towards Keokuk and Washington counties. That one moving through the Sigourney area. Now we're looking at another storm moving through the Brooklyn area. So that one moving kind of out of Powesheik County for us and eventually into Benton and Iowa counties. If we can check out Max 1, yes, perfect. So again, moving through Max 1, if we could, there we go. Perfect. So that one moving through, again, the Brooklyn area, and eventually up into areas of Benton and Iowa County. So Benton, Iowa, Lynn County right now, not anything actively happening, but that warning is out there. Yeah.
I understand that we do have a photograph from near the Brooklyn area. Do we have that ready yet? Okay, so this is a live view from Powesheik County.
This is from our partners at the Iowa Storm Chasing Network. Yep. Let's see if we can.
So it looks like they're moving through Brooklyn,
yep.
The community of, and this is the storm that we've been talking about. You can see on the lower right side of your screen, I would believe the area to the right of the precipitation is probably where we're concerned about that development. We're all watching this together at the same time.
Yeah, we're seeing this just for the first time, the same as you guys. We're trying to kind of digest what's going on, see what's going on. But the important thing to keep in mind here is, again, these storms are moving into an environment more favorable for tornadoes. So
while we can't immediately see it on that picture right there, the National Weather Service does say that it's confirmed.
Yes.
So that there still is a tornado on the ground as it moves to the northeast. Okay, so we're close to the Montezuma area. Excuse me for the correction earlier. But now you can see we're in rural areas and a little bit better of a view there. Yeah, it looks like a dangerous storm, and these storms becoming rapidly dangerous across the area.
Yeah, so Montezuma, if you look on a map, that's kind of to the south and just back off to the west of the Brooklyn area. Again, that's where we're looking at the strongest of that storm kind of moving through is now just beyond Brooklyn right now. So there's Montezuma here, kind of at the bottom or in the middle of your screen there. And the storm itself, kind of where the tornadic threat is now just off to the north of the Brooklyn area. Again, kind of moving into Benton and Iowa counties as well. Currently not in Lynn County, no warnings for Lynn County at this time, but if you did just hear the sirens go off, that's kind of that advanced warning to take notice of the weather, pay attention, that things are going to be moving through very quickly. Again, the storm motion of these is very fast.
I want to go to Max 2. The storm in Keokuk County continues to exhibit strong rotation as well as other signs on radar that it contains a tornado with it. Last report from the National Weather Service was that it still had a confirmed large and dangerous tornado associated with it. And so the area just southwest of Keota is where we are particularly concerned at this point for that tornado ongoing across that region. I'm going to go ahead and plop a little indicator here. Just about to cross Highway 92. It's moving to the northeast. So if you're in Kyoto, if you're in Harper, if you live anywhere along 200th Street between those two communities, you absolutely must be in shelter now. You have to be on the lowest level of your floor. Underground is preferably if you have it as these storms move off to the northeast. I'm going to apply the velocity view here too. It's a little bit messy because of the degree of rotation associated with this storm, but that's what we're facing there. I'm going to take one more look here. Bear with me for just a second as we take a look at the rotation in the storm. I'm going to try to shift it a little bit to the west.
Yeah, while Corey's working on that, a reminder, be sure that you are getting to your safe place now.
Yeah, so Kyoto,
no time to wait.
Yeah, Kyoto, it's within a matter of just a couple minutes, so you have to be doing that right now. Wellman, which is further down the road, same story, 424. Kelowna, which is a little bit further down the road, 432. Frytown, which is just north of the Kelowna area in rural Washington County, 435 as well, at southern Johnson County, as that storm continues to the northeast. Jen, you got the safety tips.
Yeah, so with all of these different tornado warnings going on, just want to remind everybody of the basics. Get to that lowest possible level. Get to that basement if you have one. If you don't, get to that lowest possible level, that ground floor, an interior room if you can. Again, avoid those windows and protect yourself in any way you can. If you have pillows, if you have blankets, you have towels around, maybe you can get into a bathtub, like a cavity or something like that. If you have, again, a bike helmet that you can put there ahead of time. If you're already in this warning, again, these storms moving quick, just get to that safe place if possible. But a helmet, something like that, that is a great thing to keep in mind and to help keep yourself safe and stay there until the threats pass. Don't expect the sirens sounding a second time or something like that are going to mean you're all clear. Take us with you. We're streaming in several places. If you're watching us on TV and want to, pull us up on your phone, on your tablet, things like that, you can find us on our website. You can find us on YouTube as well. That way we can help continue to kind of talk you through things and help keep you informed as the storms continue to push through the area. Again, several different tornado warnings for us across eastern Iowa right now. As we look at live pinpoint Doppler radar, kind of moving through, again, the heart of the area. There's that warning that we've been talking about down towards Sigourney, moving up into North English. Looks like we just got another extension here. I'll click on that one and see what new information we have. So this one for Benton County, and that for, again, radar indicated rotation.
Pretty strong radar indicated rotation with this storm. It's approaching the Vinton area.
All right, so let's see if we can see.
Yep, it's that area near Elberon that we're most concerned about.
So anywhere you're seeing those very bright colors, as well as those yellows, those reds, kind of coming together just off.
Sorry, I don't mean to correct you.
You're fine.
It's actually the area right on top of Elberon.
Oh, this one?
It's that red. And,
yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Right there,
yeah, there's several different things that we're watching here. Again, with everything going on. So, again, as this storm continues to track north and east, we'll put those warnings back on for you. Moving into the Vinton area and into Benton County in a short time. If I can get that latest storm motion, we'll see that moving. That one's about 45 miles per hour. So update things here. And as it moves to the north and east, again, into Benton County, Elberon right about now, Garrison 429, Vinton by around 437. So while you may think you've got time to dawdle, don't. Get to that safe place now. If you're in that tornado warning, these storms are moving very, very quickly through the area as they're kind of rushing to the north and east. And again, several tornado warnings going on right now across the area. That one for Benton County moving up towards Vinton, as well as a second warning on the southern side of Benton County, including Iowa County. Another one for moving through the Sigourney area, North English, Williamsburg up there as well. Looks like we may just have a new severe thunderstorm warning.
Jan, I'm going to have to interrupt you. If we go to, I'm going to have to pull it up. We got on Sigourney, go to max 3 full screen, please. This is the storm that we've been talking about. It's going to load here in just a second. That's a tornado. That cone-shaped structure in the middle of your picture, if we go ahead and put the green wall up again, that's a tornado that's taking place with this storm that we've been talking about in Keokuk and Washington counties. Sigourney, the storm is to your east. However, it is continuing to move to the northeast. The latest report we had from a ham radio operator in the area is that there are at least one, maybe two tornadoes on the ground with this storm. It's starting to reorganize, but you can see that cone shape. It was in contact with the ground, at least. I believe it still is. You still see a little bit of debris here on our view from our Sigourney City cam. So that is a pretty significant situation. Some more confirmation of what we already know, but you can see that storm producing a tornado. It's pretty significant, and this, I think, is the second one. The first one, I believe, is still obscured by rain as it's moving to the northeast, but you can still see quite a bit of debris circulating around the bottom part of it, and so it is likely still producing some pretty strong winds within that tornado, even though it doesn't look, incredibly wide. It doesn't have to be wide to do a lot of damage. At this point, it's lost a little bit of its definition, but that's the area of the storm that we're looking at on our Sigourney City cam there. It's a very dangerous situation. If you're in the Keokuk, Washington, Johnson County areas, if you're in any of those tornado warnings, you absolutely have to take shelter.
Absolutely, yeah. Right now looks like it may be kind of cycling back up a little bit for us, but definitely a dangerous situation that we continue to watch. Again, this is from our Sigourney City cam for those in that kind of Benton County area. The Keokuk County area with those several different warnings.
It's possible that this second area on the left, I'm going to head back to the green wall again just to point something out. It's hard to tell. It's a little difficult to see the bottom of the ground there because it's a little bit of a distance from Sigourney, but that could be our original wall cloud at the very least here on the far left side. It looks like there might be some clearness underneath it, but that could be our original tornado still in existence. This was the one that we just saw that was on the ground on the other side of it. So yeah, it's a storm that still has the potential for sure as it's moving through.
Yeah, and all of that very important to keep in mind. As we're looking here at our city cam, it's hard to discern what exactly is going on. So don't expect that you're going to be able to walk out on your porch and get that visual confirmation. That warning that has been issued is your confirmation. The spotters noting that it is a confirmed tornado, that is your confirmation. And now is the time to get to your safe place if you are in the Sigourney area at this time. Again, that tornado warning for Iowa, Johnson, Keokuk, Washington County. I heard the tornado sirens have been going off in Iowa City as well. So as that continues to track to the north and east right now, if we can put either radar in like the bottom corner maybe, just to kind of still have that also. We can still continue to track our Sigourney City cam that way. That works too. So again, that tornado warning for parts of Iowa, Johnson, Keokuk, Washington County does not include Iowa City itself, but as that storm continues to lift to the north and east, Iowa City, again, you're kind of just beyond where that warning is right now. So do, again, use that advanced warning to take the time and get to your safe place now. Not trying to do several things at once, looking at that city cam, seeing if we can see anything, not really.
Unfortunately, a second storm that has very heavy rain has moved in and it's obscured our view. Yep. So that we'll just have to pick it up on the next one down in the network. But some significant storm moving through that area.
Absolutely. So again, that is an observed tornado on the ground. That warning includes Iowa, Johnson, Keokuk, Washington counties for us right now. Large and extremely dangerous tornado over the Kinross area. Again, you can see that there in the middle of your screen right now. About 14 miles northeast of Sigourney and moving northeast at around 65 miles per hour. At last report, we had 2 tornadoes on the ground. Again, kind of tough to be able to confirm. Haven't heard, let's see, latest updates. I think we'd still have about 2 on the ground near the Kyoto area. So still looking at that potential, again, of 2 separate tornadoes on the ground as they're moving through parts of Keokuk, Washington counties, eventually up into Iowa and Johnson counties right now. Last located near the Kinross area, so along Highway 22. Wellman, if you're in those areas, get to your safe place now. Joetown, moving up into Holbrook as well. Frytown also included in this warning. Again, a large and extremely dangerous situation unfolding. That's why that tornado watch, when it came out, had that particularly dangerous situation tag on it. As we continue to track those storms moving through, observed tornadoes, plural tornadoes on the ground. At last check, we continue to get in some spotter reports of that as it's moving through parts of the area. And still also the other tornado warnings that we're tracking, radar indicated for the most part farther to the north. That includes Benton and Iowa counties. Also, the radar indicated rotation on the northern side of Benton County as well. Don't want to ignore those other warnings, but again, we're going to focus a lot on this this one to the south as it is confirmed, and large and extremely dangerous potential for us there. Also, that large hail potential as it's moving through the area.
Couple pictures if you guys can pull up out of the drop and swap. We've got the tornado near where I-80 near Brooklyn. And you can take also a look at another view from South Sigourney. Did have a report as well of power outages. Asked earlier today if we would see power outages. Indeed, that is the case. Keokuk, Wapello counties right now, so about 500.
If we could do graphics 12.
In the control room, yeah.
About 500 power outages reported there. And again, graphics 12, if we can pull it up, you'll be able to see.
We got it.
It's there.
There it is. Yeah, that's the one Annie sent that in that's driving on Interstate 80. That was near the Brooklyn area. You can see the funnel just to the left of the car in the distance. The tornado that was reported. Indeed, that's the case. And there's another one as well, just another view south of Sigourney, as we showed you on our city cam, one of the two that were there. This one on Highway 149 on South Skunk Road. Again, you can see that that funnel cloud there. So
pretty significant.
It's obvious. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that the watch that was put out, all the warnings that were put out ahead of this, certainly have come to verify. I'm curious, have not heard, has our newsroom picked up anything on damage from any of these storms yet? Okay, as of right now, have not, but certainly that will be the case as we move through. News crews are taking a look at those areas and staying safe as well, of course, because we need to get to those areas safely. Numerous tornado warnings out. And Jan, maybe if you want to widen the picture out and give us a recap of all the warnings that are out right now as far as, I mean, just sticking with the tornado warnings, it really looks like that's the major storms right now.
Yeah, again, there really is a lot going on with this, a lot to digest as this system moves through. But again, several severe thunderstorm warnings as well as several tornado warnings as we look up into the Benton County area. There's actually two different tornado warnings, still one kind of tailing behind in Tama County, as well as one tailing behind there in Poweshiek County. But if you are in Benton County, Benton, Van Horn areas, as well as into the northern parts of Iowa County, there are a couple different tornado warnings there. Radar indicated rotation for both of those at this time. But again, tornado warnings nonetheless, and something to continue to stay with us here. We'll have further updates if we are getting any confirmation of those. But either way, get to that safe place. That's what that tornado warning is issued for, is that there is a potential. And as has kind of been noted, it's tough to see sometimes. Even if we have those spotters out there, even with our City Cam network, it can be tough to tell. So get to that safe place. The conditions are right that a tornado could form in your area. The other one that we're continuing to watch, again, in parts of Keokuk and Washington County, and now moving up into Iowa and Johnson County for that tornado warning there, as the storm continues to push to the north and east, about 55 miles per hour for this particular storm. We'll add that storm track for you right there. So that takes it up into Wellman just before the 4:30 timeframe in about the next 5 minutes. Joetown at about 4:34. Also into Frytown, 439, Cosgrove, Coral Ridge Mall area, 453 as well. Looks like there's this thunderstorm warning that will go.
Looks like we had some of the latest
wide
video. Control room, Aaron, is this live that we're looking at from Iowa County?
Yes.
Yes, it is. From the Iowa Storm Chasing Network again. They're looking at what looks like a lowering there, pretty bright flash of lightning. So this is storms there. I just want to emphasize that this storm that's moving into now northwestern Washington County is extremely dangerous. It looks like the potential that it is producing 2 tornadoes again for that area. If you live in Wellman, if you live in Kelowna, if you live in Frytown, you need to get to your shelter, safe place right now. If you live in a manufactured home or a mobile home, you need to get out of it and to your shelter area that you typically go to. Time is basically out at this point. This is our view from Max 1, where we have that very, very clearly defined hook with very clearly defined rotation that we've had over the past couple of hours as the storms move to the northeast. Jan, do you want to go ahead and put a storm track on it?
Yep, let's do that again.
That's the storm that still has presented the biggest threat today, and it continues to do so. No sign of that storm weakening whatsoever. So that storm, as we look at it, heading toward Wellman, as noted, there was a report, unfortunately, that Wellman may have been included in an area without power. So that is particularly dangerous there.
If you know somebody in the Wellman area, and you can give them a call.
Yeah.
If they aren't able to watch the TV as they may traditionally, let them know that there is a dangerous situation with that confirmed tornado moving towards them right now, and probably there in about the next 5 minutes. Again, Wellman area by about 4:29, 4:30. Joetown, just beyond that, 4:36. Frytown, 4:41. The Cosgrove area, just about 4:46. Tiffin, 4:54. So again, several areas that we're continuing to track. I'm going to take that track off actually and just kind of zoom in a little bit to closer down. So again, Wellman area looks like kind of right there. So if they are without power, again, if you can give them a heads up.
Yep, and they're going to expand that tornado warning to the northeast, which makes sense because it continues to produce a tornado and head to the northeast. If you live in the Iowa City Coralville area, it's more in line now at about, let me adjust this storm track. I don't want to make a mistake here.
Latest storm motion's at 60 miles per hour.
Yep, so that puts it in the Iowa City Coralville area 440 to 450. And this warning is going to include portions of that area. Haven't seen it come across just yet, but the Weather Service in Davenport, I think because of just how intense this storm is, they're giving us a little bit of a heads up there on what their plans are. We'll also be able to catch a few views from it from our CityCam network cameras in that area as well.
There's that warning now. So again, Iowa City areas, North Liberty, Coralville, Tiffin, any of those areas, if you're watching, please get to your safe place now as that storm is moving through. Again, that is an observed warning. Also, we have another one off to the north that includes Blackhawk County, Bremer County, Butler, and Grundy County. That radar indicated rotation, that one just coming in for us. So want to make sure that folks there, since we haven't necessarily been talking about your area as much, that there is that potential moving through. Again, that includes Wellsburg, Parkersburg, Waverly, Allison, Plainfield included in that warning until 5:15. Again, that's radar indicated rotation for us right now. The confirmed rotation is off to the south. That's the spot that we have the confirmed tornadoes on the ground at this time, as well as large hail. So that is moving up towards the Iowa City, North Liberty areas right now. Yet another tornado warning coming in there for, let's see, maybe that one was just, nope, that is a new one. Okay. Blackhawk, Grundy, Marshall, and Tama counties. Again, radar indicated rotation, but kind of looking at that line out ahead and the nature of everything as those storms are moving through. So take that wider picture one more time for you. Again, it really kind of does look just kind of like a mess of colors at this time. In fact, for a moment, I'm going to take the radar off and just show a broad picture for you. So we have several different tornado warnings there up towards the Waterloo area, down towards Cedar Rapids, down towards Iowa City. Again, if you are watching right now and even remotely close to these areas, please be in your safe place and continue to take us with you in terms of coverage on our live streams, on our website, on our YouTube channel, so that you are in your safe place, as these storms are moving very quickly at this time. We'll
just want to give one more.
Yep.
The storm in the south. I hate to just focus just on one storm, but it's been so intense. If we can go to max 2, actually, so I can give it a closer look here. That area just west of Wellman, that darker area that you see on your screen, I'll point it out using this arrow. That's where the tornado is. It's headed toward Wellman. Folks in Wellman need to be as safe as they can be. It's been a large tornado for a very long time. It's been long tracked since near the Ottumwa area, and it continues to move to the northeast. It's this area, again, now looking just north of Highway 22 based on the latest scan there. We'll go ahead and take a look at the velocity view. It's a little messy because the wind speeds are so fast, unfortunately, that it's affecting the view from velocity. I'll go ahead and pop it up on here full screen. So the two areas that we're looking at are just west of Wellman and just north of Wellman. It's these two areas that we could see a little bit of rotation in both. We have had previous reports that the storm has produced 2 tornadoes at once, and that could be taking place again. So if you're in Wellman or north of Wellman, just there on Ginkgo Avenue or Johnson, Iowa Road, you absolutely need to be in shelter again because this storm persists and still continues to show indication that it's producing a tornado. This area that you see on your screen is an indication of this storm producing debris and lofting it up into the air. Go ahead and highlight that again. It's this area just west of Wellman. The tornado isn't that wide, but that's its debris field. That's the debris it's producing.
Yeah.
And that's usually a sign that it's a pretty big tornado.
Joe, do you have any information?
Go ahead and go to graphics 12, start pulling up some pictures. We got lots of pictures of tornadoes in the area. I do have some reports that between Hedrick and Sigourney, we do have some damage reports. The Hayesville area apparently damaged from a tornado. We will send a crew as soon as we can once those storms are passed and it is safe for the crew to go out. Let's take a look at what we've got. And you'll have to tell me what it is because I cannot tell
This
from
is
here.
the tornado in near Talleyrand. So this is earlier. This is in Keokuk County. Denise sent us this. And
a lot of coming in past the storm, right, from Keokuk County.
Yep. So
then again, that's from Denise, south of Talleyrand, near the Skunk River. That was, of course, the Annie sent that in. That was near Brookland on I-80. Many different tornadoes that have touched down today across eastern Iowa. We have some pictures from Hedrick, too, I believe. There's a whole folder full of Hedrick pictures. Lightning in Ottumwa. There you go.
There we go.
Again, a little rain obscured, but you'll see, and just kind of roll through these. There's one that is just unbelievably impressive as far as a storm. That's quite a distance away, and then again, a little bit of rain obscured at the grain bin, but there you go. Take a look at that.
Yeah, that's a very large tornado.
Unbelievable.
Sent to us by
So-
Hunter Fox. And it's got very strong rotation that you can see. That's the wall cloud. That's the tornado base itself. It's a little obscured by those trees, but those sorts of like horizontally shaped side bits here, that is usually an indication of a very strong tornado.
So yeah, we're continuing to track this tornado. Again, this is Iowa, Johnson, Washington counties now as it's moving off to the north and east. And that does look like it eventually could move towards North Liberty, Tiffin areas. National Weather Service kind of highlighting those areas as a potential. Another new tornado warning coming in. We'll jump to that. Benton, Buchanan, and part of Lynn County now included in that. So that one in kind of the north and western quadrant of Lynn County. So that includes Walker and Center Point. Cedar Rapids area not included in that specifically, but radar indicated rotation with that storm as well. So again, with that wider picture, do want everyone to know that there are several different tornado warnings going on, but we are going to continue to focus a lot on this one that's to the south, as it is a large, damaging, dangerous situation unfolding down there, and it is continuing to move off farther to the north towards the the Iowa City area roughly for us at this time as it continues to move to the north. We'll put that track back on for you. So that's Tiffin around 446, Coral Ridge Mall area 447, North Liberty around 450, Shoeyville 455. Yet another tornado warning coming in. I'll take us to that to make sure.
And if the control room wants to put Max 1 in the main screen and our Vinton City Cam in the secondary screen, that would be excellent. We got a view from there of the storm moving in. It also has a tornado warning. Thank you.
All right, so that Vinton City Cam for us. Trying to see if we can see anything, but yeah, that's that newest warning coming in. Again, Benton, Buchanan, Lynn County, all of that radar indicated right now. But again, kind of as you can tell from that picture there, tough to see sometimes. So please get to your safe place if you're in this area, in the Vinton, Center Point, Brandon, Walker areas. Independence, just kind of on the northern easternmost corner of that storm system. But again, we're going to continue to really follow this southernmost system. Looks like we may have yet another new warning coming in there towards Riverside and Washington
County. Yep, second little area of rotation starting to develop west of Washington.
All right, so Johnson, Louisa, Washington counties under that newest warning. And that one, again, radar indicated for us right now, but yet another portion of that very strong storm that has been able to produce so far a tornado could have the potential of producing tornado ping pong ball sized hail as well with that. Again, a reminder for everybody that is in, towards the Frytown area, Joetown as well. Those are areas that we're watching right now as a strong tornado is on the ground. Trying to see if we can get any better indication. Looks like that debris signature is still kind of carrying on up now towards Joetown, getting past Wellman now at this time. But kind of right there along Johnson, Iowa Road, 320th Street, moving up towards Joetown, eventually up towards Frytown as well. Wingdam eventually, and then into Costgrove area. If I mentioned any areas that are remotely near you, please be in your safe place. Get to your safe place. If you know somebody in those areas, get to your safe place now. There are reports coming in, more than 1,000 customers without power across the state at this time. But again, continuing to track that potentially a large or confirmed large and dangerous tornado.
Had a report from a source that I trust in the North Liberty area that said that they have seen some debris falling from the sky there. I don't know of what significance or substance. Could probably be lighter for it to travel that far from the tornado. That's in that portion of northern Washington County. But that is one thing to note. And if it travels that far, that's usually, again, another indication, if we needed another one, of a very strong tornado moving through. So let's go to Max 2. I want to take, we've done this a couple times, but just to sort of emphasize, and I'm going to go through here in the warnings, and I'm actually going to take off severe thunderstorm warnings. So we have a slightly clearer picture of where tornado warnings are in effect right now. And it includes much of Johnson County, much of Washington County, much of Iowa County, much of Benton County, much of, as well as Buchanan County, as well as Northwest Lynn, all areas west of Waterloo, essentially, including the Waterloo Cedar Falls area for a line of storms that all contain area of rotations. The storms have moved into that favorable environment that we were fearing that they would, and that's why we're starting to see more tornado warnings than severe thunderstorm warnings, although there are severe thunderstorm warnings embedded throughout as well. So there's plenty of that happening too. And it's just a lot. If you're in any of these red boxes, and it's hard to name off all of them, but we're going to try. So this area here until 5:15, including Waverly, and points like Allison and Parkersburg, Waterloo, Cedar Falls, again until 5:15, Dyke, New Hartford, Grundy Center, areas near Garwin as well.
Looks like Jane has some new information. The Wellman area, we're getting reports of EF1 damage coming in from a deputy there. So again, this tornado that we've been talking about on the ground, we are getting official reports of damage now coming in from law enforcement in that area. And again, Corey mentioned the potential of some debris getting lofted as well. So again, This is a confirmed tornado on the ground in this area, and we are getting damage reports now coming in, which we could kind of tell from the radar picture. We were showing you that potential for debris, and looks like I'm getting
Similar story from Ely now, their
Yeah.
fire department reporting similar light debris. So we're talking like
Swisher
corn,
area.
yeah, corn stalk or corn, whatever they call that, the leftover corn pieces that are gone after harvest.
The
falling in
stalks
that
and the
area.
leaves
Yep.
and stuff that's still kind of out in the fields, which is another thing to keep in mind. We may not get as good of damage indicators as we would otherwise because of that. But yeah, I'm getting some reports of corn stalks falling from the Swisher area. So thank you for our viewers for sending in your reports on that. All very helpful information for us at this time.
It's this area that we're still watching in southwestern Johnson County with particular closeness, where there has been significant and continued rotation with continued report of a tornado on the ground. This warning continues for much of Johnson County for the next little while. But if you are in Johnson County, that includes Iowa City as well as the Coralville area as well as North Liberty. That's where a confirmed tornado is located near Frytown. It's moving to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. And that is the area that we are most concerned about. It includes, yeah, it's going to move right along Highway 1. Again, it looks like at this point. We've seen this type of storm motion before, and it looks like that is going to repeat. Frytown is already here, according to the National Weather Service. Coral Ridge Mall, again, closer to 4:55. The storm has slowed down a little bit, and so that's why that time has continued to get a little bit further away. Same story at the Iowa City Municipal Airport, where we have it at 4:55, and downtown Iowa City just a couple minutes later as the storm moves to the northeast. So you absolutely, again, as we've been emphasizing, need to stay in shelter with that area of rotation moving to the northeast. I'm going to take one more look here on a different view of velocity. Yeah, same area. That's still very much rotating there and could produce a tornado, is producing a tornado, excuse me.
All right, so we're just gonna again kind of go over everything that we have going on. Again, several different warnings ongoing for us across the area at this time. We have several different tornado warnings to the south, and the ones that are most concerning for us at this time include the North Liberty and Tiffin areas as that storm continues to move up from the Frytown area. Yet another new tornado warning coming in.
This includes more of the Vinton area, so
Okay.
northern Lynn County.
So that
Definitely
one's
worth talking about.
pretty similar to that one that we were talking about earlier. Radar indicated rotation.
So
again.
very, very strong rotation.
And again, very, very concerning for us as well. Really not trying to, prioritize anyone in any way. We have several different ongoing warnings, but with that potentially particularly dangerous situation unfolding down into parts of Johnson County, want to make sure that everybody is staying highly aware of what's going on. Again, a damaging tornado confirmed by weather spotters on the ground. Please take cover now if you're in that Frytown area now. Please.
I think the good news is there, perhaps a bit of good news, though it doesn't mean not to seek shelter, is that we have seen a little bit of interference with that storm and the storm to the south. So the area of rotation is not as strong as it once was. That doesn't mean that it's not producing a tornado. But it would be excellent news if we could get this, what was very strong area of rotation, to diminish.
Looks like our emergency manager is reporting a tornado at Frytown.
Yep, still going on.
Now.
Still going on.
So still just trying to catch up on all of the updates coming in. Again, there's a lot of information coming in. We're trying to weed through everything, get you guys the most important information. But the Frytown area, if you are watching us from there, please be in your safe space. Now, one other maybe bit of somewhat good news is that we're seeing a slightly less debris signature there, but again, it's probably moving through a little bit more of rural areas. There's less for those storms to pick up. But again, that Frytown area, all indications in terms of radar as well as weather spotters suggest a strong tornado moving through the area at this time. Trying to turn off. There we go. So again, that Frytown area right now, as that storm is moving through, moving up towards the Tiffin area, eventually up towards North Liberty, up towards Iowa City, Coralville. You're kind of on the farther side of this. By all means, please shelter. But Tiffin and North Liberty, I think, are a little bit more concerning for us right now. That storm kind of moving right along Highway 1 between Frytown, Sharon Center area, Joetown, Windham, Cosgrove, and continuing to kind of move to the north and east at this time, bringing things in a little bit closer so that you can get a good idea of the exact area that we're looking at as that storm continues to track to the north and east. Again, eventually up towards the I-80 corridor, Highway 6 as well, and then up towards North Liberty there and I-380 as that storm continues to drift to the north. But this one, again, is a confirmed tornado. Last update for us coming in. Trying to let everything update. Another tornado warning, radar indicated for Henry, Jefferson, Van Buren counties there to the south, down towards Fairfield and Mount Pleasant. Again, that kind of favorable environment as those individual cells are moving through could kind of intensify quickly. So want to make sure that folks down there are aware as well that there is that tornadic potential. But that main one we're looking at right now is that one moving into Johnson County, parts of Washington County still on the backside of that, and then Weiza County as well.
So it looks like the National Weather Service, and looks right based on radar, is that the storm in Johnson County that Jan has been talking about near the Windham and Cosgrove area is moving a little bit more northerly than it was northeasterly just a little bit ago. So Tiffin is in line for this potentially tornadic storm. North Liberty is in line for this potentially tornadic storm as it moves to the northeast. It is definitely those areas that you'll want to get into shelter. Still very strong rotation on radar, still confirmed by storm spotters in the area. So it's that near the landfill in Johnson County. So west, that would be close to what we're talking about here, Melrose Avenue as you go west of Iowa City. That's where the landfill is located in Johnson County. And further west from that is exactly what we've been talking about near the Cosgrove area. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was spotted from that area. So that is the area, the western edge of the Iowa City metro in particular.
Exactly. Western edge, like you just said. Tiffin, please, if you are watching from Tiffin, if you know somebody in Tiffin, get them on the phone. Let them know if they are not staying weather aware that there is a dangerous situation unfolding for them and that we are seeing a confirmed tornado moving towards that area. Again, Cosgrove area a little bit sooner than that as well. But please get to that safe place. Get to that lowest possible level of a sturdy structure and cover yourself up with what you can. If you have a helmet, things, maybe that you wouldn't think of as a helmet, think of a pot. Think of things like that. Those are great things to keep in mind, ways that you can keep yourself safe and protected as this dangerous situation continues to unfold. Again, moving up towards the Tiffin area from Frytown, from the Cosgrove area. Those are things that we're watching right now as that storm continues to move through right now pretty well near the Cosgrove area. And again, moving to the northeast for us right now and moving pretty quick, about 45 miles per hour.
We're going to go ahead and pull up graphics 12 again. There's a couple of videos we want to look at. And let's just look at the two videos themselves. These are from tornadoes that have passed through, but this is obviously what we have been dealing with throughout the late afternoon, early part of the evening. One video, yes. Let's pull up the tornado video from Wellman.
Yeah, but it's loading.
Okay, this is from Carly. And again, we're getting videos. Definitely, if you're taking videos, definitely be safe. Just you can see it out where Carly was looking from the Wellman area. Again, just a wide storm moving through. Very evident the rotation there. And then pull up the Grant.
Yeah, it's right
near Keota. This also, again, just some absolutely scary time. Again, I just went into the newsroom. There you go. I mean, wild is one way to put it, I guess, Grant.
Yeah.
But wow. Take a look at that. It's moving through again. We had some only report of damage so far that we've had, and I'm sure we will hear more damage reports. The only report of damage is from Hayesville. That was between Hedrick and Sigourney much earlier as those storms moved through. If you do have video of storms, any pictures of damage and or storms themselves, KCRG U-News is the place to put it. We do appreciate you sending that in, but definitely we want to stay safe. Being outside as that storm is moving through, not the safest place to be.
Yeah, violent motion with that
just
tornado.
Absolutely unbelievable. So again, a couple of the videos that have just come in. Again, that's what we're dealing with right now. And you guys continue to have tornado warning after tornado warning after tornado warning. It's safe to say, as that line of storms move through, if you have a storm in your area, boy, watch out, because they seem to be rotating very, very quickly and very, very easily across eastern Iowa. Looks like the back edge of the storms, if somebody's looking for that, has crossed Interstate 35. Really, if you went from Hampton to Grundy Center, to Marshalltown, to Newton and Sully, and go east of that line, that's where the storms are. Farther to the west, the storms have ended, and that's that back edge that will finally move through eventually and put an end to this severe weather outbreak across eastern Iowa.
Yeah, getting a new update in for that tornado warning, kind of condensing it where it is. Again, kind of tough to see there exactly. Try to see if we can get that highlight on for you. But again, Tiffin, North Liberty, please get to your safe place now. Now is the time to seek shelter. A dangerous tornado moving through. You saw the violent motion of that as it was moving through the area there, and it continues to track to the north towards, again, Tiffin, the western side of the Iowa City area, Coralville, Coral Ridge Mall area, North Liberty as well. Please get to your safe place now. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground. You saw that violent motion with it, that damaging nature with it as it continues to push to the north there. You can kind of get a little bit better idea of where exactly that is.
Looks like we have a picture that's the tornado from earlier near Sigourney in the lower right corner. So another view of that same storm, but that storm still producing significant rotation. I also just want to let folks know we've got two new warnings. So you see that new tornado warning on your screen, which Jan's going to pop up. The other one is also a severe thunderstorm warning, and this is for the storm near Tiffin. So that's the same storm we've been talking about, moving toward the southeastern portion of Lynn County, includes the southeastern portion of the Cedar Rapids Metro, down the area between Highway 13 and Highway 30. However, parts of Benton and Lynn counties, as well as Buchanan and Delaware, have a severe thunderstorm warning. Not warned for tornadoes, at least at this point, but it is warned for the potential for 80-mile-per-hour winds. That's headed for the northwestern portion of Lynn County. That's called destructive by the National Weather Service's terms. As these storms move to the northeast, it will likely set off your cell phone. You'll probably get a couple of wireless emergency alerts here soon on your cell phone in parts of Lynn County. But I just wanted to highlight that before we get back to the tornado warnings.
Yeah, so again, we all know the power of wind, so do heed those severe thunderstorm warnings, but rightfully so. I think we're going to continue to focus a little bit more on this tornado warning to the south. And the National Weather Service is doing an excellent job kind of warning ahead with the fast motion of these storms. So again, areas that are included now in the warning for that confirmed tornado on the ground include Tiffin, North Liberty, and then moving up towards kind of along Highway 1 there towards Solon, Eastern Iowa Airport outside of this, but Swisher area kind of just on the cusp of that. Up towards Ely, eventually Bertram and Lisbon included in that warning as well. So again, kind of several different things happening for us there. But we'll zoom back in to that warning nearest to where we last saw that reported tornado on the ground.
I do have now a damage report to a home in Keota. At least one home has been leveled in Keota as that storm was moving through. So our thoughts go out to everyone that's dealing with it. I understand we
Absolutely.
also have some, are you something?
Yeah, I hate to interrupt you, Joe. If we go to Max 2 once we show this video.
Washington County.
Let's go ahead and take a look. This is the from Washington or near Washington. As the storm was moving through, you're seeing it with us.
Shelter.
Okay, it is in Washington, just outside the city. I guess in the distance, you're probably seeing the tornado on the ground, some lightning certainly. You can see the lowering right in the center of your picture. And again, you can see the winds really blowing as this storm moving through. So numerous tornado touchdowns and large tornadoes moving across eastern Iowa. This again from Washington County earlier. We thank you for sending in that video of that storm.
If I could have the wall with
Yeah,
Max
if we can
too.
have Corey at the wall, that would be great. Perfect.
That view of your picture is of a tornado on the ground in Johnson County. It is on the left side of your screen, this touching the ground. This is live in Coralville right now from our city cam. It's headed toward the Coralville area. It's moving to the north and northeast, both toward Coralville as well as toward the North Liberty area. If you are in those areas, you need to seek shelter now. That storm producing a tornado still. Same storm that Joe showed earlier, which had tornadoes all along its path, probably going to be a continuous path for much of its life cycle, but we can see just a little bit of faint outline there. Still have had spotter reports with that same storm producing tornadoes. So now is the time, if you haven't already, we've been telling you for a while, but you definitely need to now get into shelter with that area of rotation seeming evident on our city cam in Coralville.
We do have a report of pieces of lumber and plywood falling west of North Liberty. So pieces of lumber and plywood falling west of North Liberty. So again, as these storms are moving through, they are picking up debris and they're carrying that debris with it. And as they do, again, we're now having that report just west of North Liberty of some debris falling from the sky.
I can hear the sirens going off right now in downtown Cedar Rapids. Again, most of the strongest of these storms kind of avoiding the metro proper, but we are continuing to watch the Iowa City Coralville area, Tiffin, North Liberty. Please get to your safe place now. Moving up towards Solon, towards Ely, towards Bertram, towards Lisbon. Again, that kind of, if we zoom into that Cedar Rapids area, as those sirens are sounding, if you're tuning in, wondering what's going on, those warnings just kind of both off to the north and to the south of Cedar Rapids proper, but there is the potential for damaging winds. There is the potential for a tornado in the area, so that's why those sirens are sounding, and it is still a good idea to get to your safe place.
Tracking power outages so far, we have about 1,300 out in Keokuk County and also about 1,500 out in Washington County right now. A few scattered outages elsewhere, but those are the two major outages as those storms continue to move through.
We have another area of rotation that is just really increased in intensity over the past few minutes, headed toward the Hills area in southern Johnson County. They're included in a second tornado warning, but if you are in the Hills area, you need to get into shelter too. That's an area where some pretty significant and tight rotation, likely representative of a tornado, has started to develop and is moving that way as well. So another serious situation in southern Johnson County as well. I'm going to try to move the Coralville City Cam a little bit. We may have lost, I think we lost access to it. I think they may have lost power there. And so
that would not be a surprise.
Yeah, let's try to effort to get
both
a different look.
from lightning, from strong winds, kind of things that happen for us during severe weather coverage, where we lose access to some of our city cams as that intense weather is moving through. But again, we're here to keep you updated and continuing to track things as they're moving through the area. Again, there are tornado warnings out right now for parts of Johnson County. That does include the Tiffin area for a confirmed tornado up towards North Liberty, moving towards the Coralville area. Again, kind of that advanced warning eventually up towards Solon, towards Swisher, kind of on just outside of this, the Ely area, the Lisbon area, Bertram area, eventually up towards Mechanicsville as well. All of these areas we're watching for that potential for a strong storm. Right now, if we look at that velocity picture, you can see kind of right around Coral Ridge, pretty intense winds kind of moving through that area. Looks like we're getting some new warnings coming in. So let's check those, check out some.
Well, while you're doing it, can you widen the radar out too? Because we've got, everybody wants to see what's going on all across eastern Iowa right now. Have had several requests to say, where are the storms? Where are they moving? And there you go. Numerous tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings cover southern Fayette County all the way back down through Washington County. All the way back, as we can see now, moving through Grundy County, kind of the back edge in Marshall County. So that's the event that continues to push off toward the east-northeast, varying speeds as those storms have been moving through. And again, areas where we are continuing to see as well damage being reported. Have reports in Swisher of some debris falling from the sky. Several reports of shingles and corn stalks in Tiffin. So again, these storms are picking things up, which is evident with tornadoes that move through. So again, that kind of gives you that wide picture of where the storms are right now. We'll be running through all of our warnings as we move forward.
Yeah, so again, a lot of different things that we're tracking. So, there's that storm on the northern side of Lynn County, including also Benton and Buchanan counties. That is radar indicated rotation. There's also kind of a set of cells that we're tracking in the southern parts of the eastern Iowa that include Cedar, Johnson, Muscatine County, as well as parts of Johnson and Lynn counties. That bottom one that's highlighted right now, that one is radar indicated. The top one that includes a large portion of the, again, North Liberty area and off towards Coralville, towards Solon as well. Eventually, that one is for that confirmed tornado, that damaging tornado that we've been seeing some video of here as we've gone through the afternoon. Wonder if it's possible. Can we pull up the video again, just kind of re-show what exactly we're dealing with, since the sirens have gone off, and kind of reiterate what exactly it is that we're dealing with.
And I had a question earlier. Somebody asked, why did the sirens go off earlier in Lynn County before the storms were there? Well, here's why: because of what those storms were doing, and they wanted to really give you a heads up to get to a safe place. With the fast movement of the storms heading in and tornadoes developing very, very rapidly and then continuing to strengthen as they move through, you need to be in your safe. That's not safe. That is just absolutely not safe, being out watching that at all. You should definitely be in a safe spot.
We can go to graphics 12.
Sorry, I thought we were seeing graphics 12.
No, we're not.
My monitor was seeing graphics 12.
You're all good. Okay.
I'll turn this way and look at this monitor and see graphics 12.
Commentary accurate still, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want to be outside. Again, this is one of the storms that was moving through an area. This here, the Keota area, have several pictures, and Hannah's putting together a whole book of pictures for different storms that have been moving through. We did have a report in Keota of one home being destroyed. That is damage report. We also had damage reports from Hayesville, numerous power outages as well now across portions of the area. So certainly, again, a very dangerous situation, as we've outlined for a long time. This situation moved through, continues to move through, and we'll deal with it for the next several hours as those storms continue to move off toward the east and northeast. So we're not done with this by any means, but that's what we've been dealing with across eastern Iowa, why these warnings continue to be issued. Sometimes you wonder why that tornado warning was issued today. There is no doubt why the tornado warnings were issued. We've had numerous storms touching down across the area.
Reports of damage coming in now from the Hills area. Joe just mentioned damage in Keota. Again, you can see the power of that tornado on that video there. That is why we want you to get to your safe place. And that's why, again, the questions coming in of why are these warnings getting issued so far ahead, or why are the tornado sirens going off already? It's so you have time to get to that safe place. Okay, we're trying to give as much advanced warning as possible, and don't say, well, I'll wait until it's closer. The reason that those warnings are being issued out ahead is to get to your safe place, so you have time to react and to respond to everything that's going on. Try to take a closer look back on. Yeah, still getting some pretty good, strong wind returns there. Our debris signature is not as good anymore, and as it's moving through that more populated area, that's good news. Absolutely, that hopefully we're seeing things maybe kind of cycling up a little bit. But at last report, please.
Still rotation.
Yes,
radar there.
Absolutely.
Same just to the southeast. In fact, if you want to go ahead and show the velocity view real quick.
Yep.
It's the area right near Highway 6, southeast of Iowa City, or very near the southeastern side of Iowa City, where that storm that had rotation near Hills, there we go, excuse me, folks. That area also showing rotation could contain a tornado, likely rain-wrapped as well, as it's not sort of in a traditional location like a supercell tornado. It's more embedded within a line. So it's going to be hard to see coming. As we've said multiple times, we really have to keep a close eye on those. If you're in a tornado warning, treat them all the same.
Okay, while we're out, let's go ahead and widen our view out and let's give a total big picture, and let's look at each storm as we move south or north to south across the area so that we can give an entire viewing area view of the storm. So let's put that into motion. You can see this whole area of storms is moving off toward the east and northeast. Now, when those storms pass through that back edge that you see, once that moves through, this situation is done. But as long as you're ahead of that, you are in danger of having tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, strong winds continue to move across the area. If we can go back to, I don't know what happened. There we go, pinpoint Doppler radar. And then if you want to go ahead and, we'll just go ahead and go and take a look at each warning that we have in effect. So we have numerous warnings. The red boxes, that's the tornado warnings that we have in effect. The orange boxes, those are severe thunderstorms. Assume you are going to see some strong winds with any storms that move through. Let's begin down to the south. This is just south of Washington County, so just out of the TV9 viewing area. Those of you in Henry County, that is a tornado warning that continues now until 5:30. We'll move a little bit farther toward the north. We have numerous tornado warnings. We certainly have been focused on these as they're moving through the heart of eastern Iowa right now from West Liberty, just near Tipton, just near Iowa City. That is a Cedar, Johnson, Muscatine County warning. That's in effect until 5:30. Cedar, Johnson, Lynn, that is till 5:15. And we also have a warning farther down toward the south. This would be Johnson County. All 4 tornado warnings. That's in effect again until 5:15. We move a little farther to the north. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. You'll see those pop up. Iowa, Johnson, Keokuk, Washington County. Tornado possible in any storm that develops yet this afternoon. 70-mile-per-hour winds. As we head up toward Buchanan County, now into the western areas of Delaware County. 80-mile-an-hour winds possible as those storms continue to move through. That's in effect until 5:45. Let's see, we have Chickasaw and Floyd County until 5:45, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And then we get a little farther to the north, and right now no warnings up toward the Decorah-Waukon area. These storms kind of fall apart quickly once they get north of that warm front as we move toward the north. So again, just to kind of give you a big picture across all of eastern Iowa of what's happening. And again, obviously we've been on the air since what? The first warning came out down toward Powashik County, Ottumwa, since about 2 o'clock, and they've produced tornadoes ever since. And now there's kind of a cluster of an area that is under tornado warnings, and that includes Solon, as well as over toward near Iowa City and just off to the west of Tipton.
I would say Solon in particular, you're in imminent trouble, where there's an area of rotation moving toward you. As similarly, tornado likely that produced damage in the eastern portion of Johnson County, just crossed Interstate 80 to show some signs that it caused at least a little bit of damage, either just southeast of Iowa City or near the Hills area. And so that is another path that we'll have to look at to see what exactly occurred there. But Solon is another pretty concentrated area of rotation headed toward the city in the next few minutes. So you need to be in shelter there. That is the same storm that has been producing tornadoes all along its path. It is a pretty serious situation for the folks in Solon. That storm still producing a tornado, still debris signature on radar, which is why we're keeping an eye on this city cam view as it exists. And it's we're losing a little bit of our visibility just because of the sheets of rain. Oh, here we go. Very intense winds at the very least.
You kind of see that green to the sky as well there.
Yep. Yeah, the wind picked up significantly. It's actually jostling our camera.
Yeah, we're not moving
I was
that
going
right
to say,
now.
that's not us moving the camera.
Yep, so
that's
this is possibly a tornado moving through Solon.
some debris or something in the sky that was moving through.
Yep, you could see it as it was going
that
by.
looked like a roof.
That was a roof that flew
just
off.
got
This
lifted
is a
off.
tornado moving through
This
the
is
area.
downtown Solon.
Main
It's
Street.
If
looking
you are
toward
in
the
Solon,
west.
get to your basement now.
Main Street and Highway 1.
And you can see on the right side that roof lifted right off.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. You can see that there.
That's how quick it happens. That's why when warnings are issued, you need to take them seriously and get into a safe place immediately.
Yeah, if it wasn't a tornado, it was very intense winds, but I think we probably witnessed a tornado move through Solon.
I think so. Hopefully everybody has been listening and is safe. It's scary stuff. There's no denying it. And now look how calm it is. In that
Doesn't
quick.
take long.
Again, very fast-moving storms, very intense motion with these storms, and violent motion with these storms.
Bear with me. I'm going to pan around a little bit, see if we can see a bit more about that area on Main Street and Market Street, which I believe is the local name for Highway 1 that rolls through.
Yes, it is.
that rolls
Yep,
through the
that's
city.
Highway
believe
1
that
there.
building houses a restaurant as well.
Yep, down just below there is the Mexican restaurant there. We're kind of panning along
there
Highway
you
1
see
right
the
now.
There's the roof.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's possible that was that could have been some circulation around the area of rotation. You can see that damage, that roof that landed on top of that hardware store, I believe, on Highway 1, also littering Highway 1 on the lower right corner of your screen. So travel there obviously is going to be a problem.
So with the reports we've had in different areas having debris fall from the sky, there is definitely more damage across portions of eastern Iowa. It could be confined in some areas, as we see here. It looks like just one roof in that particular area of downtown Solon damaged.
Yep.
But we're hearing that. We're also hearing some power outages so far. We do have about almost 1,400 people without power in Keokuk County. Just over 1,400 people without power in Washington County right now. Those are the areas that are reporting power outages right now in the TV9 viewing area. I would assume we'll see more. When we were looking at the Solon City Cam earlier, even as that storm moved through, the power appeared to be still on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
Well, and we still have
surprised.
control of our city cam,
Yeah, I'm very
Right.
surprised by that. But yeah, that was a very intense moment there in Solon. And that area of rotation continues to the northeast. They'll be headed toward the Lisbon, Mount Vernon area next. So if you're in that area, you have to get to shelter too if you haven't already.
Yeah, so again, very, very intense moments witnessing there, but that just goes to show, again, how quickly things are happening and how quickly things are changing. Looks like we've had several different reports of various damage coming in, a couple of reports back from Frytown. Again, just kind of showing the intense nature and how long-lived these storms have been. And as we look over Solon now, you wouldn't really know that we just had that very intense motion.
Strong wind at the very least.
Exactly, yeah.
Reports of debris falling in Marion near Highway 13.
Yep, and that's all ejecting from the same storm.
Yep, so that's the rotation not there yet. It's just kind of getting lofted up in that storm. Newest tornado warning includes Johnson, Lynn County, Jones, Cedar as well, moving up towards, again, that's that same storm that we've been tracking here, moving towards Lisbon, eventually up towards Martell, Springville, Anamosa. That is your early advanced warning to take shelter. Now it sounds like 20,000. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, is that, Joe, is that what we heard from the control room?
Yeah, 20,000 now, or over 20,000 without power in the Iowa City area. Also now have some reports, some scattered outages in Benton County. And again, I think we're going to hear more power outages as those storms continue to move through.
Yes, we are going to now switch to our Mount Vernon City Cam at this point as the storm is headed that way. Still producing very intense rotation. Jan, if you want to throw on a velocity scope or something near the Solon area, you can demonstrate that.
It also sounds like we've got a tornado crossing I-80 around West Branch.
Yep, that sounds right with that rotation that developed near Hills.
Yes.
Same storm.
Yes. So, trying to turn on a couple of things for us here. There we go.
Yep, so there's the tornado warnings and the couple areas of rotation that Jan's pinpointing in here.
And you wanted to see what area? Sorry.
Up near Solon is the one.
Yep.
We have that area near 380 as well as that area near Solon. That's the very strong rotation crossing Highway 1 and moving to the northeast.
Yep. So again, I'm going to actually turn on this and see if there's anything that we can see if we backtrack. Doesn't really come across well on our tornado debris. So hopefully, just kind of maybe a quick gust of wind that we witnessed. But again, if you're in those tornado warning areas, please be in your safe place as they continue to advance to the north and east at this time. that warning most recently expanded further into Lynn County, including the Springville area, as well as up into Jones County, including Anamosa. Again, that has been a pretty long track, something that we've been watching for a while, and pretty substantial in terms of the strength with that. Also, again, West Branch now kind of tagged as observed with the most recent updates that we've been getting in there. That one, let's see, moving about 40 miles per hour, and including most recently near Oasis or near West Branch. Again, continuing to move to the north. You can see anywhere you're getting those really bright colors or those reds and those greens next to each other. That's where we're looking at that potential for some pretty strong stuff there. Now that Solon one kind of even coming in with some brighter colors as it's moving past town at this time. So definitely something we're continuing to track here in the weather lab. I'm gonna just take that wider view yet again for everyone. Again, there is a lot going on across the area for us right now. As that kind of backline rushes through, but starting to see an end to everything in our westernmost counties. That is some good news. But if you are still under those warnings, don't let your guard down. Stay up to date with everything that's going on. We still have some pretty dangerous stuff happening. In particular, it's this kind of cluster down here that has a couple different tornado warnings on it. That system that we just watched move through the Solon area, now moving up towards Lisbon at this time, up towards Highway 30 pretty soon. So please, if you're in the Lisbon area, if you know somebody in the Lisbon area, give them that phone call. Let them know that there is intense rotation that's been noted. It's moving through. It's continuing to move closer to them. Please let them know that is headed their way. The other things that we're continuing to track, again, that storm down towards West Branch, Cedar, Johnson counties, also an observed tornado. So a couple of observed tornadoes with this. If you are hoping to go get that video or that picture of a tornado, please make sure you are being safe first. That is great information for us to have. We appreciate those that are sending those in. Thank you very much. But again, please put your safety first and foremost when it comes to dangerous situations such as this. Not to mention that there's hail, there's damaging winds outside of the tornadoes associated with these that can also be either damaging or lofting debris in other ways as well. So we're gonna kind of do a little bit of a tour here to kind of showing everything that we're looking at. Again, Cedar, Johnson counties, that's an observed tornado. That's going to be in effect until 5:30, so another 15 minutes on that one. That warning that we were tracking up here for Cedar, Johnson, Jones, and Lynn County, moving past the Solon area now, but up towards Lisbon. If you're in Lisbon, please get to your safe place along that Highway 30 and Highway 1 corridor, moving up towards Springville and Anamosa. Again, that one's staying in effect until 5:45. We have several kind of severe thunderstorm warnings on the backside of that system as well that we're continuing to track. Those mainly for strong winds as they're moving through the area. So again, after this initial round with those tornado warnings, know that there is still another line moving through that could bring some pretty strong winds with it before we're going to see things. And with those tornadoes moving through, that could mean more debris being lofted as well.
With an update from the newsroom of some report of a tornado in southern Lynn County, that's the area that we've been talking about near Mount Vernon. Still a tornado on the ground with this storm. So that's the latest information we have there. Would not be surprised by any stretch of the information. That is headed toward the Mount Vernon area, so I would definitely be in shelter there. It's passing very near, and on radar, it's very ominous too. Yeah, so again, tracking right towards Mount Vernon, Lisbon area. That's that area of rotation we were just looking at. We're looking at our Mount Vernon city cam right now, and things so far, rain,
Not seeing terribly gusty winds, but we saw from our Solon one just how quickly things can change
And
around.
this tornado is thoroughly rain wrapped now, if
Yeah.
it exists. It is significantly surrounded by precipitation. You will not see it coming.
And that's a very important note. You know, so we've shown some pictures, some videos already, but these storms change over time. So don't expect that you're going to be able to see that exact thing that you saw a little while ago. Just know that that storm is moving your way. You can kind of see those sheets of rain getting wind blown now on our camera there. So starting to see things kind of intensifying a little bit more already at this time.
And at this point, we're looking a little bit south and southeast, and so those sheets of rain are moving a bit left to right, which would be on the northern edge of that rotation if it exists.
So again, that's the Lisbon, Mount Vernon area. If you are in this area watching right now, please get to your safe shelter at this time. Lisbon, Mount Vernon, now is the time to get to your basement, get to that lowest possible level. Cover yourself if you can. You know, if you can get into something like, you know, a bathtub, those cavities, things like that, or get under a staircase, those sturdy structures, that would be most advised at this time as the storm's moving through. You can like just within this short time, you can really see it intensifying there.
Yeah, the wind really picked up there for a moment. You can see rain blowing off the roof there. Again, the area of rotation and likely tornado is very much rain wrapped though, so it will be very difficult to see the actual funnel. But you can see winds really picking up from right to left now on our view.
Yeah, so I mean, they've been moving different directions, which just kind of shows that rotation.
Sorry, we're just taking a few new storm reports. Joe, did you have something new from this storm a little bit earlier in its path?
Nothing new as far as storm reports themselves, but did just want to let you know, first of all, Hannah's efforting some new videos that we have as well. We'll have those coming up in a little while. Again, we've had some, in fact, I think we might have some of the videos.
Sounds like Lisbon is reporting 70-mile-per-hour winds from the fire department at last check.
That is not surprising.
Yeah, again, just kind of showing the intensity of these storms.
If we want to pull up, again, graphics 12, we could pull up the video that Crystal sent us near Malcolm.
Hold on one second.
You'll be able to take a look at that. As we're waiting for that to come up, do want to let you know that our newsroom is hard at work. We have crews headed to Solon, Coralville, Wellman, as well as Lone Tree, areas that we have heard of and seen damage in the area. This is, again, Crystal posted this for us near Malcolm.
Joe, sorry to interrupt. There we go.
There we go.
Finally
Perfect.
got it up.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I continue to watch this monitor.
No, that's
I got
all
to
right.
turn around. You can see that's the tornado that was near the Malcolm area. This is kind of where this all kind of began and started. When we watched that tornado develop and continue, we have numerous other tornadoes as well, and those that have just continued to move through the area. Let's see, what's one of the other new ones that we have? Take a look at the Wellman storm damage if you want. That's one that just came in as well.
Let me look that up real quick. Wellman storm damage from Jackson.
Yes. Jackson sent this in. There you can see some of the storm damage at the trees. Structures damage you could see. That obviously a building of some sort destroyed. And again, that was from the tornado that we saw there in the Malcolm area. Also the Frytown. We're reporting on Frytown a lot. There's a video from Shauna that sent us in. This is again the tornado that is moving through the Frytown area. Numerous reports of confirmed tornadoes across eastern Iowa, and we're not done yet. We still have tornado warnings that continue for portions of Cedar, Jones County. We'll get to those in just a second, give you a wide look. But again, that's near the Frytown area. Again, a little bit thinner at this point, but look at the debris coming up off the field, just pulling that dust. Doesn't have to be a massive funnel to cause a lot of damage. So again, our news crews are working, as we mentioned, headed to Solon, Coralville, Wellman, and Lone Tree at this point. Could be going to other areas as well as we move forward. So again, we still have a few hours to go to get this situation out of eastern Iowa.
Yeah, we've got fresh batches of warnings too. Jan, if you want to take down Max 1.
Yep, several warnings coming in for us now. Again, that one we were tracking back towards the Tipton area, up towards Clarence now. That one is a confirmed tornado for us. Also seeing a new warning coming in. This one is radar indicated, but another tornado warning. So again, please seek shelter if you are near the Atalissa area, 11 miles west of Durant. So again, those are areas that we haven't necessarily been talking about as much here recently. So do know that these storms are still evolving. It's not just that one storm or that two storms that we've been tracking. There's several different things happening here as these storms continue to move through the area. So do continue to seek that safe shelter. Again, if you're in the Wilton area, Durant, Hickory Grove, Bennett, Rochester as well. That one is, again, a radar indicated tornado for us right now, which a lot of them are probably going to start to be. Don't necessarily expect that spotter confirmed tornado because of all the rain and stuff that we're dealing with at this time.
It's those two areas like you were mentioning. There's one near Interstate 80, just north of the Wilton area, as you said. Another one very near Tipton, passing just to the north of the city in Cedar County. So two areas that we're concerned about for tornadic rotation there. And a third southwest of Stanwood.
Yeah, do we want to take a look at Max 3? I assume that's what the Solon City Cam is on right now.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
You can see responding. Up there it is. Responders there in the street ahead of the restaurant where we did have the roof ripped off. You watched it live as that storm moved through. You can see probably some of the owners out front of the building taking a look. Some people seeing what had happened again in downtown Solon. So again, probably there to just say, hey, there's debris in the area. Slow down. Not going to let you drive through that area a lot with that debris that's on the roadways and that.
Yeah, in fact, we can go take a look at when that tornado, or what we suspect may be that tornado, or at least very strong winds moved through the Solon area. This is from our city cam just a short while ago. You see the timestamp on there. That's 5:06. So less than 20 minutes ago is what we were dealing with as that storm moved through, kind of blew our camera around. We didn't move that. That's how strong those winds are again. Then we were able to kind of see the damage there as that roof was actually blown through, or what we suspect was a roof. But you can see just very rapidly how things kind of intensified, changed, and that very intense, again, suspected tornado or strong winds moving through the Solon area for us a short time ago, less than 20 minutes ago, as that went through the area that we were able to capture on our city cam there.
Yep, possible tornado at the very least.
Yes.
If not, the winds sometimes wrap around the edge of the tornado that's moving through, called a technical term rear flank downdraft. But basically, very strong winds come around the back side of it. And it also, that's what helps to make that hook echo shape in the storm, partially. So that's why we see that on radar. If we could take Max 2 real quick, I just want to take a look at the velocity again here near Tipton. That is very likely a tornado occurring right near the Tipton area, moving to the northeast. So I'm going to go ahead and put a storm track on this. It's about to cross Highway 38 if it hasn't already, because these storms, of course, have been moving rather quick. This one moving at about 60 miles per hour, and you can see how far it moved in that one radar sweep. That's only a couple minutes between those two, and it's now just south of Wold, moving to the northeast. So if you live in Clarence, if you live in Massillon, if you live in Wapsie or near the Wapsie Park area, if you live in Oxford Junction, that is a definite tornado that's taking place. It is, I'm not sure if it's spotter confirmed, but certainly radar confirmed. In fact, if we just quickly, before we get to this new tornado warning, look at our debris indicator, it's this area right here on the outside edge of Tipton where there is an obvious debris sign. In fact, the next scan hasn't loaded in yet, but looking at it ahead of time, it's very obviously a tornado headed for the Clarence area. So if you're in the Clarence area, you must take shelter now. The new tornado warning is for Delaware County. It goes until 6:15 tonight. It is radar indicated at this point, and let's take a look at what we're dealing with here in terms of velocity too. So it's this area near Manchester, and that is moving to the northeast too at about 35 miles per hour. Manchester City Cam showing us a very ominous picture there too, with a lot of heavy rain and dark skies. We've seen that time and time again. Currently it's radar indicated. It was right on top of Manchester. So Manchester, Earlville, all of those areas you need to seek shelter now. In fact, off air, I'll put a storm track on and take it to the east and show you where the Earlville area at 5:34, Petersburg at 5:38, Dyersville, which is also included in this warning, 5:41, and New Vienna, which is not technically in this warning, but just outside of it in Dubuque County, 5:42. So these storms still moving fairly quick off to the east. and you need to get to shelter there now too.
Sounds like there's reports of damage near the Coralville Mall coming in as well.
That would make sense with our city cam view from earlier.
With what we were looking at. So just again, kind of confirming what we've already known and been seeing, that there is those damage reports coming in. Sounds like those sirens are going off in downtown Cedar Rapids yet again. Probably for that severe thunderstorm warning as that line kind of continues to advance into the area. So again, this first line is the one with the most intense tornadic potential. But do know that even after this first line moves through, we still have a second line that's coming through behind it. This one here that could have the potential for some pretty strong winds. So even though it's a little bit different for us, know that there is the potential there for some pretty strong winds still coming into the area, and that I would assume is why the sirens are sounding right now in downtown Cedar Rapids. Either way, we are continuing to track a couple of tornadic storms.
Yeah, let's take Max 2 on the radar view real quick. Sorry to jump in front of you there. That's those two areas of rotation and also debris that is being picked up by the radar. One is southwest of Bennett, north of Interstate 80 there on the southern part, or the lower part of your screen. The upper part, a pretty obvious area of debris being picked up there too from an area of rotation that is just near Clarence. And so that is a pretty significant area. It's moving to the northeast near Clarence, if not just to the east on Highway 30 is where it's headed, as well as northeastern parts of Cedar County. That is a potentially strong tornado again, as we've seen time and time again. I'm going to remove those indicators. Areas near Bennett too. That is headed toward your area as well. That tornado possibly shifting to the northeast. In fact, you can see it.
I was just going to say, pull up velocity. That Bennett one. If you are in Bennett, please get to your safe shelter now. You may have just a couple minutes as that very intense rotation continues to advance towards your area.
Yeah, two areas of likely tornadoes on the ground, if not fairly strong ones at that.
You want to run down all the warnings again, Jan, that we have in effect right now?
Yeah. So right now across the area, again, several different things going on for us. I'm going to take the actual radar picture off because it kind of clutters things up a little bit for us. But you can see all those different warnings that we have in effect right now. There are severe thunderstorm warnings up for Chickasaw County, that for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. That tornado warning, again, for Delaware County, including the Manchester area. Right now, radar indicated, but again, these storms have had a history of intensifying quickly, so please seek shelter if you're in Manchester. Dyersville kind of just on the far end of that, so now is your, again, advanced warning that there could be a tornadic storm moving through your area. Cedar, Jones, Lynn County, radar indicated rotation, but again, that one has had a history of producing a tornado. Also into, let's see if we can get that to actually pop up for us there. Looks like we're getting some new warnings coming in as well. So this one for Jackson, Cedar, Jones, Clinton counties, that tornado warning, as well as a warning just back off to the south. That's those areas of rotation that Corey was just kind of tracking there for you. So again, Bennett, Dixon areas moving through Cedar County and Scott County at this time. That's those tornado warnings. Again, if we kind of look at things a little bit more, there's several severe thunderstorm warnings, and we're starting to see those big severe thunderstorm warnings coming out, and those ones are indicative of some pretty strong winds as those storms roll through the area. So it looks like the National Weather Service kind of starting to issue out well ahead of that main line, just kind of letting everybody know, hey, that you stay weather aware. There could be some intense storms moving through. Regardless of the type of warning you're under, it's a good idea to be in that safe shelter and to be seeking that safe shelter. As 70-mile-per-hour winds are possible, really with any of these storms. That's what those severe thunderstorm warnings are kind of alerting you to in advance. But again, let's kind of zoom back into those.
Yeah, it's right where you're on, Jan. That storm right near Bennett, that one is wrapped up incredibly tightly and very obviously has a tornado with it. In fact, the National Weather Service describing that there is a confirmed tornado there based on radar, which is, yeah, I would agree with that. It's moving toward the Bennett area. You would need to be in shelter there too, crossing into very eastern portions of Cedar County there too as it moves off to the northeast. We did receive a report from the newsroom of potential damage to a residential area in Coralville, southeast of the mall. Which again, it's just kind of in the same vein that we've seen from other reports in that area. But it's that area highlighted right now that is the most urgent tornado risk. There is one also east of Clarence along Highway 30 passing between Clarence and Loudon. That's another area where you need to absolutely be very, very careful. Even that little area just north of Bennett where there may be even a second embedded tornado.
Yeah, right there.
We've seen that at least a couple of times today.
Something like right there.
Two tornadoes have developed really close to one another.
But this area here, absolutely, we just kind of showed you. This is the winds. What you're looking at here. If we pull up that possible debris signature, that's something else that's pretty clear cut on here as well. Anywhere you're seeing that kind of a ball. So again, Bennett, please be in your safe place. This storm continues to advance to the north and east. So if you're beyond that, absolutely. Again, continue to shelters. These storms continue to move off to the north and east right now. Eventually into Clinton counties up towards, maybe Wheatland or Calamus areas.
It's been a bit of a juggling act today, and if we could go to Max 2 real quick. Similarly, where a warning for a storm there has now been called a confirmed tornado in Delaware County. Let's actually put the polygons back on here so you can see the area. Still includes Manchester, but looks like the area of rotation is likely closing in on Oneida. But areas inside this warning also do need to seek shelter. So if you're in Manchester, Earlville, Oneida, any of those areas as this storm moves off to the northeast. I'm going to put a storm track on this one real quick just to get the latest on it. It is moving northeast at 40 at this point. Like I said, we've seen that variable speed at times today. So it's shifting to the northeast from there. So areas near Delhi at 535, Oneida 535, which is just moments away. Earlville at 539, Petersburg at 545. New Vienna, as we've talked, is just outside of this warning, but still in line for the storm. That's where it will be at 553. This was confirmed by emergency management in the Manchester area. They reported damage in the Manchester area, and we will have to follow up on that. The latest report was Burrington Road and South 5th. Where some buildings sustained damage there. So that is another spot we'll have to check on.
And again, we're focusing a lot on those tornado warnings as we do have those confirmed tornadoes on the ground. But other areas of eastern Iowa do still know that that there is still impactful weather happening across the area with several severe thunderstorm warnings in place. We're getting reports of 75 mile per hour winds in Fairfax, 70 mile per hour winds in Palo, reports of straight line winds near Amana, near Swisher, several reports. So again, that's kind of that back line, not associated with tornadoes, but associated with just the thunderstorms moving through strong winds, anywhere from 70 to 80 miles per hour, associated with some of those storms. So let's check out, it looks like we have another new tornado warning coming in.
Yep, just south of that, if you want to go ahead and check it out, or I can check it out. Here we go. It's going to pull up the radar.
Delaware, Dubuque, and Jones counties. For this one, again, radar indicated for us at this time. See if we can see, it's probably that over by Anamosa, which, yep, definitely some rotation there, Anamosa area. And this would be that same storm that was, correct me if I'm wrong, the one that went through the North Liberty and Tiffin areas.
I think it is. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. It was that new rotation that moved through Cedar County.
So
that's the same one.
Looks like, that storm may have weakened at one point and maybe kind of cycling back up a little bit, getting a little bit more rotation going. So Anamosa area is right now where that rotation is. Please be in your safe place as that continues to move to the north and east. Monticello area is kind of one of the areas up next. Scotch Grove as well. Another new tornado warning coming in for us.
If you want to take Max 1 control room.
Yeah, if we can check out that next tornado warning, there we are, Cedar, Clinton, Scott counties. This is an observed tornado. Again, tornado on the ground, moving into Clinton and Scott counties there for us. Radar radar confirmed, again, as Corey mentioned earlier, about 11 miles east of Tipton, and moving northeast about 55 miles per hour. So something we haven't talked about again for a little while is just the fast nature of these storms. So again, remember that these storms are moving very quickly. Don't wait. Don't hope that you're going to see the tornado. Just get to that safe shelter as quickly as you can. This is that same kind of area that we've been tracking here. This is our winds again. Anywhere you're seeing those really bright colors, those tight reds and greens nearby each other, that's where we are seeing a tornado. As well as the reason that they're calling that radar confirmed is because we've got the winds supportive of a tornado, as well as seeing that debris signature on the radar picture. So all things that we're continuing to track here. Again, a confirmed observed tornado moving past the Bennett area, eventually now into Cedar, Clinton, Scott counties for that area. And again, several different warnings in effect for us right now. We've got that one for Delaware, Dubuque, and Jones County, moving up into the, let's see. So this is that area of rotation. Kind of see it there, moving closer to Massillon and eventually kind of 100th Avenue, County Road, X64.
Yep.
There we go. And then up towards Oxford Junction. So again, those areas, please get to your safe place now. And no, we've just got a new radar or velocity scan, and I'll go back to that.
So it's that same area, just a little bit further.
So again, moving now kind of
in that general region
There we
between
go.
Oxford Junction and Massillon there.
again, so kind of looking like it's going to drift maybe just to the south of Oxford Junction, but if you're in the area, please get to that safe place. Again, we're kind of really pinpointing things in here, but we've had reports of debris being lofted within these storms. We've had reports of debris several miles away from where that rotation actually is. So please take these seriously and be in that safe place. Again, several different tornado warnings moving through. That confirmed one as well up.
We have a crew in Coralville reporting some damage along the Coralville Strip. Power lines down, power poles down, debris in the street. So certainly crew trying to effort a live picture right now. So hopefully we'll be able to see that very, very soon. I wonder if we can go back to graphics 12 once again. I do want to take, we keep talking about debris being lofted and falling down in many locations. Mm-hmm. There's a video in that folder, debris falling in Ely. Resent this in, and when we get to take a look at it, you'll be able to see what we were talking about. And again, Ely, storms move through, but this even before the storms move through, just watch this, and you'll be able to see just falling pieces.
Oh, wow.
We've had corn stalks reported. I've seen one piece of a metal piece of a building that fell down. So again, this has been happening in many places as that storm just kind of pulls everything up it can, right? And then as it goes up in the atmosphere, eventually it's going to fall out as well. And you can see more debris kind of in the distance falling in the Ely area. So that's kind of an indication.
And you know, it's a 10-minute drive between Ely and Solon. So think about how far that stuff's getting lofted up. And
we just have a report of a severe damage to a housing damage in a development just west of Solon. So again,
Twin View Heights area maybe out there.
Yeah,
just
likely
west.
Again. And we saw what it did in downtown Solon very quickly, or a portion of that storm did. So again, we have a crew on the way to Coralville right now. Again, we're efforting a live picture. They are already in Solon. They should be getting some reports back, more from them soon. Wellman, Lone Tree, other places in eastern Iowa as this storm continues to move through. And as you indicate, if you take a look at, I think that's Max 1. We're not done yet.
No.
From Manchester up to Dyersville, we're just heading up across areas of our northeast zone. Dubuque hasn't seen the storms move through yet. Those of you in Jones County, southern Dubuque County, Cascade area, we're moving from Tipton now through the remainder of Jones County, heading toward Maquoketa and Jackson County. We still have to get the strongest parts of the storm through. Had a lot of people asking as well. Backside of the storms, when they're through, is this done? Yes, there's a small line of storms right now. That stretches from Oline through Independence back through Center Point. very near Cedar Rapids as well. That could produce some strong winds, as you have been telling us. South of that, not much, some scattered activity, but once that line is through, then the threat is done. The tornadic threat, though, with those storms still very much in play across portions of Jones, heading up along Highway 20 from Delaware County through Dubuque County and still into Cedar County as well.
Yeah, so you know what Joe's seeing there is this is that initial line. That's what's been producing those tornadoes for us. Back here is kind of that secondary line, just kind of rushing a little bit faster, almost caught up to that initial line. But once this one's through, then we'll be in the clear for the rest of the evening. So, you know, if you're back behind this line here, you're pretty well in the clear at this point. But just for those who are still out ahead, don't let your guard down after that initial line goes through. Know that there's still some very strong winds, again, 70, 75, 80 mile per hour winds observed with this secondary line as it's moving through.
Yeah, if you take put a picture in picture with Cedar Rapids City Cam on Max 2 in the lower right, you can see the secondary line moving through now, the Cedar Rapids area, where there was just a reported gust of, I believe, 60 miles per hour at the airport. No, I'm sorry, 60 knots. So that's actually faster than 60 miles per hour. That's about 65, I believe, or so, 65 to 70. So pretty strong winds. 70. Yeah, pretty strong winds associated with that second line that is back behind it. So not something to ignore, as the first line is the tornado producer, but the back line on the edge of our warm and humid air certainly could cause damage too.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, getting some more reports in. Again, those 70, 80 mile per hour winds, damage reports coming in as well. Continue to heed these warnings. I know it's been a long afternoon of trying to figure out what's going on and what warnings are happening where. But again, don't let that guard down here just yet. We still have a little while left on some of these warnings. New warning coming out for Delaware, Dubuque, and Jones County. That is still, again, a radar indicated warning for us at this time, but includes Monticello, Cascade, Hopkinton, and up towards Dyersville as well. Again, that is radar indicated rotation, ping pong ball sized hail also possible as that storm moves through. Right now, that storm over the Camp Courageous area, around 9 miles northeast of Anamosa. So again, several tornado warnings that we continue to track here. We'll turn off that radar picture so you can kind of see all of them as they move through. But anywhere up towards Manchester and into Delaware County there. Also back to the south, again, closer to where Highway 1 heads into the Anamosa area, and then up towards Monticello, Cascade, Hopkins, Dyersville. That's the newest one we had, and then several down to the south as well.
We do have our crew. I'm going to let you. What is that new tornado warning? I'm going to let you catch that first.
Yep, let's go check on that one. I agree. Clinton, Muscatine, Rock Island, and Scott counties. That is a radar indicated rotation for that area as well, and moving out of the TV9 viewing area.
On City's friends.
I understand now we have TV9's Brian Tabak. He is live on 9th Street in Coralville. Brian, what are you seeing where you're at?
Yeah, we are right off Highway 6. You can see behind me, power lines toppled down. Crews right now working to pick up trees that have been toppled over. The roof on the apartment complex directly behind me ripped off. I'm here with Dimitrik Byers. Dimitrik was here, lives here, saw everything. Can you kind of just talk with me? What exactly did you hear? What did you see?
So pretty much, I was honestly playing the video game, and the power just went out. When it went out, you heard a big boom, and clearly that was electricity. Then we looked out the window, like my window faces right towards that roof. The roof just completely snatched off and started ripping over cars. There was cars that were moving pretty much. I just really hope everyone's okay and the storm is over, you know?
When you looked outside, you saw all of this. I mean, this is a crazy scene. What's going through your head?
Honestly, the only thing that's going through my head to make sure my family and everybody else's family okay, and to make sure that regardless of this situation, everybody gets reimbursement, everything just take care of. Appreciate first responders and everybody being here to be able to help, and I just want to wish everybody okay.
Now, you said you live close. How close are we talking, and can you kind of describe what your house looks like right now?
Not even 10 feet right now. My house is okay. Some people in my building, pretty much, they experienced it. but my house is okay, thanks to the Lord in prayer.
Thank you again for joining us. Again, we are on 9th Street on Highway 6 near Coralville. You can see first responders coming down 9th Street right now. We have crews working to pick up tree. There's debris all over the tops of some of these roofs. That roof on the apartment complex directly behind me is completely ripped off. Siding is pushed in some of the treeways. You can see wood debris also on top of some of the other apartment complex. Very scary scene here. Live in Coralville, Brian Tabbitt, KCRG, TV 9 News.
Brian, thank you for that. You know, kind of puts everything back into perspective a little bit of really what all we're dealing with here across the area. Some intense damage
Yeah,
coming
unfortunately,
in.
yeah, it's not going to be the first, or not going to be the last, rather, of those reports from citizens and viewers across eastern Iowa. Yeah, we're getting to more spots. We have crews headed out in the way. We want to make sure they were safe to travel before we sent them
Exactly.
Somewhere, but we'll get the latest as we can.
Yeah, so you know, thank you to Brian for that great report there. Again, kind of putting you back in touch with what's going on the radar picture right now. Right now, we've got that main line of storms continuing to produce several tornado warnings at this time. Again, radar indicated down towards the Davenport area. That's moving out of the TV9 viewing area for us. Another warning for us here moving through the Clinton County area, and that one is a confirmed tornado on the ground. So again, that one there in the middle of your screen, including Wheatland area, that one again confirmed on the ground. Yet another warning for us here in the Jackson, Cedar, Clinton, and Jones County area. That one also radar indicated for us at this time. And then another warning for us further to the north. That one is for parts of Dubuque, Jones, Delaware counties. Also, again, radar indicated rotation. And then one last warning for us here, at least one more tornado warning. Again, that's going to be the Manchester area, now moving well out of there. And that's for Delaware County. That one for a damaging tornado as well.
All right, we're going to take a look at Brian Tabbick's live shot right now and just kind of take a look at what he's seeing. You guys can help me with this too. I see numerous poles down for sure.
Did we know exactly where Brian's at in Coralville?
9th Street was what I had what I was told, on 9th Street.
Okay.
Are you familiar? You're much more...
Okay, so Boston Way, just east of the Coral Ridge Mall.
Near
Okay.
the
We did
Coral
have
Ridge Mall.
reports right
Yep.
near the mall, or we had reports of damage at the mall as well.
Several first responders out there, which I think is a good thing to mention. That you know, people naturally want to go see what happened. If you're not in this area already, don't go. Don't cause more traffic there than needs to be. Let the first responders do what they need to do.
Well, and with power down and
Yeah.
there's power lines, those are hot. You could get in trouble very, very quickly just being near that as well. So, yeah, it's not time to go out. We have crews out there. You're going to see all the damage across eastern Iowa as we move through the coming days. But, again, this is in the Coralville area.
So, Joe, I think you have a video that you also received from the Hills area. Do you remember seeing this one of damage?
Let's take a look.
Yeah, it's on Graphics 12, if you don't mind. Yeah, so this is the Hills area. That's the Casey's out by Highway 218. They're driving north on Old 218. So they're going to move past some houses here.
Yeah, we heard that Hills was pretty hard hit as well with damage.
Yeah, you're going to pick up on it here in a couple of seconds. You start to see
Oh, yeah.
relatively new apartments on
You
the
can
south
see
side
a
of town.
trailer flipped
Yep.
there. It looks
Look at
like
the roof damage.
The roof damage.
Yep, somebody lost the side. This is why we say
Yeah,
stay away
take a
from.
look at that.
Yeah, stay away
Yeah.
from exterior walls. That's
Right.
why we say
Absolutely.
it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a very prevalent there. More
house damage
That
there.
one looks like it lost its roof entirely.
Yeah.
Again, as you guys said it earlier, this is not the last of the damage that we're going to see from these storms because they were intense, they were on the ground, and they were causing damage as they moved across eastern Iowa since about 2 o'clock this afternoon when they developed farther down to the south, then moved up through Wapello County and just continued to move through the area. And again, this is from the Hills area. Significant damage in the Hills area. We also have a report in Solon of some significant damage as well to a housing development in the Solon area as well. You may want to pop something else up, maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was using
There we go.
my computer at the same time. Excuse me.
The tornado warning that was in effect, Manchester, you look like you're pretty clear of that warning. Those of you in Earlville yet still seeing that.
Looks like we've got several warnings still kind of moving out of the area.
Yeah, most of them go until about 6:15, but we still have a little
Yeah.
ways to clear until it exits the viewing area. We were talking
Yep.
about that 6 to 7 o'clock time period that looks like it's going to be right about in line.
Yeah, no, I think it is. It's moving out right as scheduled, which is good news. That last cell is moving through Dubuque County as well.
Yeah, our
eventually.
Dubuque viewers, you've been maybe watching here through the afternoon. Not much happening for you just yet, but now things are starting to lift into your area. So again, continue to stay weather aware.
Check the power outage map because I'm sure that's been updated as well with new outages as they more and more come in. We have Cedar County now with about 2,600 people out of power. We heard about 20,000 out in portion of Johnson County. Washington County about 2,000, 1,500 without power in Keokuk. About 350 in Iowa County, about 550 in Poweshiek County. Benton about 300. Lynn County now reporting about 2,300 out of power. That would be from mainly the Lynn County RECs, Delaware County now 1,600 power outages. Buchanan County also reporting a scattered handful of power outages. So, as expected, that was going to occur, and even the video we were seeing from Brian earlier with the power lines down, I'm sure that's true in many locations when those storms move through. Those power poles don't stand up to that.
One thing just as a note, going forward, if we could take Max 2 real quick. The tornado watch has started to be canceled for parts of the area. It was in effect till 8 o'clock for the entire TV9 viewing area. It is now trimmed back a bit. So areas west of, let's say, a line from near Charles City down toward Washington have started to be cut away, and that will continue to be trimmed over the next hour or two as that back line of storms is the last one that gives us the threat for severe weather. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning. It includes a large portion of Cedar, Clinton, Jackson, Jones, Lynn, Buchanan, Delaware, and Dubuque. It includes large areas. It's kind of hard to pick it out across all of these other warnings in effect at the same time. But that is in effect until, let me get the latest again, just juggling the different ones. It's for a 6:45. And this one also is being warned for the potential for 80-mile-per-hour winds. So that is the type of straight line wind that can do pretty significant damage. As it moves to the northeast, again, your phone will likely go off with an emergency alert as it does, and just be ready to seek shelter. Stay away from those exterior walls if you're even in just a severe thunderstorm warning, because strong winds can do that kind of damage too.
Exactly. We all know, just the power of quote-unquote just wind. So do still heed those severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, a lot of focus, rightfully so, on the potential for tornadoes here through the afternoon, but do still pay attention that that wind threat is still moving in back behind as well. Again, several tornado warnings still in effect for us here across eastern Iowa. You can see them kind of highlighted there up towards Manchester, moving into Dubuque County as well. There to the south, moving through Jackson County as well as Clinton, Scott counties. Davenport viewers, those in the DeWitt area, it sounds like we've got confirmation of a tornado on the ground near DeWitt as well.
Sorry to interrupt you. If we could put Max 1 in a box with these, with Max 2, that would be helpful, so we can keep an eye on the Dubuque City Cam as the storms roll in, and as well as the radar.
I mean, you mentioned the wind, and now I'm thinking of cleanup.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we're not going to have storms. We've got winds that are probably going to be 40-plus miles an hour out of the north and west, so that's going to make cleanup in some of these areas very, very difficult. Again, non-thunderstorm winds, cold front moves through, much colder air moving. In fact, we'll drop about, 40 degrees from what we saw from the high today to our low tomorrow morning, and that just shows you how powerful this system was that moved through. And with it, again, that's going to be something you'll deal with tomorrow. All of us will. More high wind up to about 40 and 45.
Yeah, that's important. I think those have kind of been undercut a little bit just because of all the focus on this afternoon, but there will be strong winds into tomorrow morning still that will make both just cleanup a little bit trickier. That'll also mean still the potential for blowing debris. That's also, tree branches maybe that were either loosened up or, are still caught up in the trees that could fall. So do still stay weather aware even still into tomorrow with those gusty winds continuing for us across the area. Again, I know it's moving out of our area, but do still want to make sure folks, as it is kind of a more populated area off towards DeWitt into Clinton County, Davenport down there, that there is still tornadic activity. So if you know folks over there, give them a call, make sure they're staying weather aware, make sure they're paying attention to the latest updates from their local TV stations as well.
I'm going to ask our newsroom if they could. I've got a report potentially that Highway 13 and 20 shut down due to tornado damage in Delaware County. I wonder if our newsroom could check on that. Highway 13 and 20 shut down in Spa somewhere in Delaware County due to tornado damage. They'll take a look at it. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So that's that warning up here. The one that we were tracking for the Manchester area here a short while ago.
Always a sign of hope. We have several rainbows that are coming in behind this system, and it seems to happen after every major storm that moves through. So, again, if you suffered damage, there are some signs of hope out there. We'll all make it through, but certainly thinking about you a lot. Again, thankfully, I haven't heard of any injuries. Hopefully that will be the case and continued to as we watch these storms continue to move through.
We've been talking about the kind of backside of that line moving through the area. I think it's pretty well safe to say that Iowa City is kind of on the backside of this now. Cedar Rapids area, still a little bit of rain for us, but I think the strongest of the winds are past us at this time. And then further up to the north, Waterloo, you're pretty well in the clear. Obviously, still potential for some rain, but the winds, the damaging parts of these storms moving past you up towards Independence, also now getting into the clear of the severe portion of these storms. So just kind of centering everybody on what exactly we're dealing with. The strongest of these storms now moving into far eastern Iowa, and even into northeastern Iowa up towards the Dubuque area here as we continue to watch those warnings, several tornado warnings, again, still in effect for us across the area at this time.
Again, many reasons not to go out and take a look at the storm damage, but we did confirm that Highway 20 westbound at Highway 13 is blocked due to debris on the roadway. So Highway 20 westbound up in Delaware County at Highway 13 is blocked. There is a detour in progress to get around that debris. And again, debris, power lines, just the fact that people need to figure out what they need to do and not have people trying to look at storm damage are just a number of reasons why you should not be going out tonight to take a look at this.
Absolutely, yeah. Let everybody do what they need to do. Don't put yourself in any more danger than you need to. Just stay. If you're in a safe place, try to stay put. Let those first responders do what they need to do and get everybody hopefully safe ahead again of those gusty winds that we'll see tomorrow outside of any thunderstorms, and hopefully can get some stuff cleaned up here this evening ahead of that. Just kind of a quick little radar picture. Anywhere along that kind of main initial line from Manchester towards Dubuque, down towards Maquoketa, and down towards Davenport, any of those areas right now have tornado warnings in effect. We've had confirmed reports. Some of those are radar indicated, but either way, even without those confirmed reports, know that there is that potential that there could be tornadoes within these or very strong winds. It's hard to get those confirmed reports with some of these as those storms have more moisture, more rain and stuff with them. Just kind of the nature of how those storms are moving through at this time. So know that there is that potential, and do be in your safe place if there is a tornado warning out for your area. Looks like We've just got a new warning in for Jackson County, again, still radar indicated at
Yep.
this time.
And it looks like if you if you pop on, the debris indicator view, we may have at least some signature there north of Macokota, that little roundish area about near Highway 61. That looks like the tornado probably taking place on radar, likely causing at least a little bit of damage. Could be rural areas, just trees and other such material, since it's in a fairly rural area. But of course, people live out in rural areas too. Passing near the Andrew area along Highway 62. That's where that potential tornado looks fairly likely that there is one on radar.
And again, a lot of these that are radar indicated, maybe people thinking, well, it's not confirmed, so I don't need to. Well, the reason that it's there is because it is radar indicated, and we're seeing at multiple levels of the radar, both in that reflectivity picture, that the wind, that debris detection, that there could be a tornado on the ground. So as Corey mentioned, the Andrew area, moving in that general direction, do be in your safe place at this time. Ping pong ball size tail also associated with this system. Since that one's a new warning, most recently located over the Fulton area, or let's see, and moving northeast about 40 miles per hour. So that's the latest warning that we have there.
Said we have numerous crews out. TV9's Becky Phelps is live in downtown Solon, joins us, and we saw that they had damage live from our city cam. Becky, what are you seeing right from the downtown area?
We are here in Solon, right in front of a hardware store and a Mexican restaurant that has seen some storm damage to their roofs. I'm going to step out of the way here so you can get a better look at that. But up at the top, you can see some bricks exposed, and we've seen some first responders driving around town, checking in with people about damage and things like that. Driving into town, we saw through some housing developments, some minor damage there to homes, some playgrounds blown over, trampolines damaged, and here downtown there are some minor tree branches down, pieces of siding in the sidewalk, and we spoke with some people here in town really quick who say that the storm felt like it moved through fast, and it went fast for them, although it was a scary experience for them. So again, we are here in downtown Solon, seeing some minor damage to buildings here. We're going to throw it back to you guys.
And we saw that damage live on our city cam as it moved through. Becky's confirming now more damage in Solon itself. Let's take a look at that city cam video again. And we were watching it live as it happened, as it was moving through.
Yeah, pretty intense stuff.
Watch the right side of your screen for that roof to lift off the building there. Yep.
And there you go. It's that quickly that moved through and that roof was gone. And you'll see as we move a little farther forward some of the pieces of that roof. Actually, what I want to go to is graphics 12 if we can. This is also some video we've got in from a viewer. Emily, thank you for bringing this in. This is in the Solon area as well. I'm looking at more damage. There's been some grain bins certainly damaged. I saw in some of the video as we were moving through. We'll see what we find in this one.
Power poles, it looks like.
Oh yeah, power poles down. So again, that's very common across the area. And we'll take a look at the other one as well. I think this one shows some grain bin damage, which I'm sure we'll be hearing more about as well. In eastern Iowa, there you see one of the grain bins totally down due to that wind. They're kind of out there. They're big structures, and
looks
we know.
new too, unfortunately.
Those hollow structures can really
some
get
tree
impacted.
damage there you can see coming in.
Structure damage
Yep,
too.
lots of structure damage. It looks like a farm with lots of structure damage. That again, in the Solon area, more of the bins damaged as well. So
Do also want to know, please be safe while you're sending us your videos. Don't drive and take videos, and be sure you're in a safe area. That's important.
there may come a time when that's illegal.
It's true.
Quite possibly. Soon.
Should not do it. So make sure
Yes,
you're
so
not
that's-
doing that.
That's the latest. We do appreciate
Yep.
Emily.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. But put your safety first. Absolutely. That's what we've been here telling you all afternoon. Put your safety first. Get to your safe places. Several tornado warnings still out there for us across eastern Iowa. Again, a large portion of this, though, kind of moving beyond the areas we've been talking about a lot here, Iowa City as well as Cedar Rapids area. It still does look like there's a little bit of precipitation, and there we are, that severe thunderstorm warning for us just off into kind of the eastern side of Lynn County at this time. That's for 80-mile-per-hour winds. So again, very strong winds, very powerful winds, and a very large warning associated with those. That includes Jackson, Buchanan, Cedar, Dubuque, Jones, Delaware, Lynn County, Clinton County as well, as those storms are moving out of the area. But we're getting closer to being kind of on the backside of that system. Dubuque, though, again, you're kind of just getting into the thick of it right now. There are some tornado warnings in Dubuque County, but none for Dubuque itself.
I think that one even for Delaware County maybe has expired at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't popped off our screen yet.
Yep.
But yeah, that one in Dubuque County, it's fairly weak rotation. If we take Max 2 real quick.
I think we're going to go Joe, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we actually we heard about a lot of damage. We saw some of the damage in Hills. We have Sheila Eckrich on the phone. Sheila's in Hills. And Sheila, what have you seen as far as damage and when the storm went through?
We wasn't here when the storm went through, but I was talking to one of my friends that lives at a different location, and she asked me if I had heard that a tornado had hit Hills. And I said, no, I hadn't heard. So after the wind calmed down and everything, we came over here to see what the real damage was, or if there was any real damage. And it's like, OMG, this is the new housing section. There are so many houses destroyed. It's unbelievable. And these houses are, well, there's one that's not even completed, being built, and the rest of them are just destroyed. And this is just north of Casey's, and then it goes further into the eastern part of the housing district. And I talked to the fire department people, and I asked them, I said, was there any injuries? And they said they're still assessing the steps at this time, and they do not have any reply yet. So, I don't know, but I've never seen anything like this except for down south, maybe on the news.
Wow, you really painted a picture for us of what it's like in Hills right now. We thank you for that. Sheila, stay safe. Sheila Eckrich on Newsline 9 telling us it sounds like there's numerous houses damaged or completely destroyed were the words that she used as well. We do have a news crew on the way to Hills as well. We'll be giving some indication of what we find once we get our news crew in place down in Hills. Looks like that line is approaching the Mississippi River.
It does.
Getting close. It's getting close, but it's got a little bit to go yet before it clears the area. Severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings continue across a good portion of the area. That Dubuque tornado warning for another couple of minutes.
Yep.
Haven't heard any new reports from there, and we've got a decent look at it in our Piazza City Cam if you want to put that in picture on the lower right. I'm not seeing anything in particular there that would immediately raise suspicion, which is always good news. Just some scary looking clouds there from our city cam view, but nothing that indicates immediately a tornado. But other warnings continue all up and down the line. Jan, if you want to go through some of those.
Yeah, let's do that tour again, kind of across the area. Here's that wide look that you're used to seeing from us. Actually, before I do that wide tour, we're going to go talk about a tornado warning that just came out that is radar indicated and includes Joe Davies County, Dubuque, and Jackson counties for us at this time. So again, that until 6:45. Dubuque, Jackson, Joe Davies counties included in that warning.
Give me an update on
and we'll see the potential for a tornado with that. Again, radar indicated rotation. Joe Davies County, Jackson County, Dubuque County, that in effect until 6:45 right now. That while that does include part of Dubuque County, you can kind of see there just off there to the south. It does not include Dubuque itself, but it does include Galena, Bellevue, Rice there into Joe Davies County. So all areas that we're continuing to watch. Let's go check out, see what that rotation looks like. Kind of just hard to discern anything from that, but you can see some of those brighter returns. Anywhere with those could be the potential for some strong winds, but again, please be in that safe place. Probably even if there is a tornado, wouldn't be confirmed. It is just going to be radar indicated because as these storms have kind of moved through, the way that they evolve, we're getting more of that rain with them. It's hard to really see anything more out of those. Looks like another new tornado warning just off to the south of that as well. Weather Service kind of advancing those past warnings on and into parts of far eastern Iowa and into Illinois as well. It looks like Clinton County included in that one, and that one is observed, if I'm reading right.
Yes, it is radar confirmed, I think.
Okay.
And so on the radar view, pretty tight rotation north of Goose Lake, would be head toward Miles, Preston, Green Island potentially. This is kind of the same storm that moved near DeWitt and all the way back toward areas of Cedar, southeast Cedar County. That storm that you were just talking about in Dubuque and Jackson and Joe Davies, I think that was probably the original storm that moved all the way down from Ottumwa.
Yeah.
I think we could trace its lineage back there, but you see that area of rotation that Jan's highlighted.
Yeah,
in fact, no, go ahead.
We've been on and talking about these storms again since, as Corey just mentioned, since Ottumwa, since back around the 2 o'clock hour. So we've been talking about these a while, and there's been about one or two that have really been pretty well long-lived and sustained that we've really been tracking that rotation on.
I want to show you something here on radar using our debris tracker. So there's a pretty clear debris signature with it, that reduced area that you can see with the blues and greens. This is where debris is being picked up by the radar. But I want to step it back in time just a couple of seconds. And you can see that it looks like it moved through the Charlotte area. You can see that ball that goes through the Charlotte area. And then a bunch of this blue and green goes to the north. This area up here is likely debris that is falling further to the north in the storm. We've seen reports of that earlier today, but it looks like Charlotte, which is in northern Clinton County, just on the edge of our area here, likely saw some pretty significant damage there based on that information from the radar.
Yeah, exactly. We've had those reports coming in from, example, the video we had from Ely of the tornado or of the corn stalks kind of coming down. And the nearest that we had any rotation to that was 15 miles away. So again, those storms are very powerful, very strong upward motion, updrafts with those that can really loft things up into the sky as those storms are rolling through the area. Again, just taking one more wide picture for you as those storms really push off to the east, continuing to move out of the area along the Mississippi River there. Davenport area under several different tornado warnings. Again, if you're in that area, tune into the local stations there. They'll be covering things. For the Dubuque area, Jackson, Joe Davies counties as well, that radar indicated tornado warning that we were just highlighting there. And then also this one, still about 2 minutes left on that one for Dubuque County for radar indicated rotation. Pretty well, I think, out of that actual warning polygon now, up towards Graph probably. So guessing they'll let that one expire here pretty soon.
And if we go ahead and go to graphics 12 again, we've got a picture, shows a couple things. This is just west of Keota, one spot that we saw a lot of damage. You can certainly see the structural damage, boy. But take a look at that tree. You see this every time with tornadic storms.
Yep.
You've got that tree kind of sheared off at the top. And just an indication that its tornado moved through this area, destroyed whatever structure that was.
It unfortunately looks like a residence.
Yeah,
It does.
and it very well could be. And it very well could be. So that's something that we're seeing in spots. We have had reports from hills. We'll have some video coming up a little bit later, I understand, of some damage that we heard about just a little while ago when we talked to Sheila, who was down in hills. We've had damage in Solon. We've had damage in Lone Tree. We've had damage in Coralville. I'm sure there are many other places as well. Up toward Manchester, certainly Delaware County, we had a tornado move through, and certainly with debris in the area. And I noticed that just taking a look at the power outage map, Delaware County suddenly shot up as well. They now have about 4,500 people without power as well. Cedar County now up to about 3,000. So numerous power outages in many portions of the TV9 viewing area. So again, just an indication of what this storm has done across a large portion. Sometimes we see these and it's a small spot, right? Now, not today. it's a widespread swath of damage all across eastern Iowa.
And that's really what that high risk that we talked about that came out during the midday show when Jan was on the air, that's what it means. That's what it's there to indicate. It's there to indicate widespread and particularly intense. It's both. And unfortunately, we've seen both. Some days, you wish that it doesn't play out that way.
Of course.
And unfortunately, today was the day where all the ingredients came together. They combined into some very violent results.
Now,
Yeah.
you never want to see severe weather as of this moment. I have not heard that there's been any injury, which is good. We'll keep hope that that's the case.
Yes.
Buildings, structures, that can be replaced. People cannot. So we want to hope that that certainly continues as well, and that you can just took the advice and stayed safe.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody, staying with us here through the afternoon, trusting us to help keep you safe and trusting us throughout the week leading up to this as we kind of forecast these storms again since really for quite some time. And we've been highlighting that potential for severe storms all week long. And they are playing out. If you stepped outside this morning, it felt kind of soupy out there. That's that moisture that those storms have been kind of feeding off of, and everything kind of setting up, as Corey said, just right for the ingredients for those storms. Now, the good news is those storms are moving now eventually out of eastern Iowa. You can see most of that activity kind of pushing off to the east. Even some warnings starting to happen for the Chicago area. So if you know anybody there, give them a heads up. Right now, though, for us here in eastern Iowa, pretty much just this one warning left in our viewing area that includes Dubuque, Jackson, Joe Davies County. That does include Galena. And again, that storm kind of rushing off to the north and east for us has been the motion of these storms here for the last while, about 55 miles per hour, and that's radar indicated rotation right now. But we've kind of been tracking that system here for a while, and again, all of those storms powerful. Even the severe thunderstorms outside of the tornado warnings producing anywhere up to about 80 mile per hour winds. And it looks like the National Weather Service kind of warning out ahead of the potential for some strong winds with that same kind of part of the system, again, up to 80 mile per hour winds. The good news is, if you can find good news in this, I guess, is that the strongest of the winds kind of starting to come up as those storms are exiting our area.
But as they do, as Joe highlighted earlier in our coverage, if we could take Max 2 real quick, wind gusts behind the storms in the clear air are still pretty strong, 40 to 50 miles per hour at times. We've had a couple of reports just over 50 miles per hour. So that will complicate cleanup efforts, unfortunately, as Joe was mentioning earlier too. And we're seeing that, and then even stronger wind gusts reported in Nebraska and South Dakota. So this really strong area of low pressure that generated all these storms, also big tight pressure gradient. It's going to produce some pretty strong winds probably through Saturday even. So that's something that we're going to have to deal with. And another reason to stay away from those areas that have been damaged. There's lots of loose stuff laying around in areas that have been damaged. It could be blown around even by winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour, like tree limbs that have been snapped but not ripped off the tree. Those could fall in those types of winds, and that could cause injury if you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Looks like they are continuing that warning, that tornado warning for Carroll, Joe Davies, Jackson counties. A confirmed tornado located about 16 miles north of Clinton over Mills for that area. Again, if you're watching from in the Davenport area or Clinton, Scott counties, tune into local media there. They'll give you continued updates. We're mainly still tracking this Dubuque, Jackson, Joe Davies area for that radar indicated rotation. These storms really continuing to rush to the east. Let's take a look at graphics 12.
Yeah, let's go to graphics 12 for a minute. That's a video from earlier. This was sent to us by Jerica. This is near the Kyoto area when there were 2 tornadoes on the ground, as we had reports from that very large and very strong one on the right-hand side with a very clear mesocyclone, wall cloud, all very textbook on the right, and then as the camera pans to the left, you can see the smaller satellite tornado, they call it, second one, off to the left side here in just a second. That's the one we could see from our Sigourney City cam live on the air. The other one was obscured, so unfortunately we weren't able to see the biggest one at the same time. There was some rain behind it, but that second one is what we saw, and that's just very strong. In fact, even the smaller one probably pretty strong for the time it was on the ground.
I mean, but like look up through that cloud, you can see that kind of spinning.
Whole thing's rotating.
Yeah.
It's shaped like a cylinder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's as of course that textbook kind of thing where some people compare it to a barbershop pole or something like that, where you can see that entire storm system rotating as it's moving through the area. Fortunately, it looks mainly rural, but
unfortunately, we know it wasn't the whole time.
Definitely, there has been a lot of people impacted by the weather today, and definitely our thoughts are with everybody.
We now have some reports of structural damage on the south side of Manchester. That would also include power lines, power poles, but some structural damage too. So we suspected that when we heard Highway 13 and 20, or Highway 20 was blocked right at Highway 13 for a period of time with the detour in the area, that there had been some structure putting that debris on the roadway. And again, that's what we're hearing now, is that as those storms now beginning to cross areas of the Mississippi as far as the tornadic storms themselves.
Yeah, so here's where those storms are right now, as Joe just said, kind of pushing off toward the Mississippi at this time. Cedar Rapids, Iowa City in the clear now, back behind these the most intense storms. While we will see those winds picking up again overnight into tomorrow morning, the storms themselves, the winds with those storms, are now past the area, but we are continuing to stay on for our viewers in Dubuque County, Jackson, Joe Davies County as well, as those storms continue to push off out of the TV9 viewing area. Even still, though, again, as Joe was just mentioning there, in the Manchester area that was received some substantial damage, that severe thunderstorm warning back behind still in effect for about 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts in that area. So still dealing with some strong storms moving through the area, but fortunately kind of seeing things coming to an end. Looks like we are still getting in maybe some further damage reports here that we'll take a look at in just a second.
Joe, I understand we got another viewer picture from Benton County.
Yeah, and
Let's take a look at graphics 12 if we
one
could.
that we're following as well as that storm moved through. You can certainly see debris in the field from that structure in the farm. Certainly damage. You also can notice some of the roof damage as well to that area. Plenty of debris out in the field as well. So again, numerous structures in some way. That door maybe even kind of peeled away a little bit in the strong winds or whatever was moving through the Vinton area at the time. Did have a lot of report of some small hail also kind of raining down in the Vinton area. Benton County right now specifically about 300 power outages. Now some power outages even up toward Clayton County. So again, as that storm has moved through, we notice more and more power outages moving through this near the Garrison area. Again, in Benton County, structural damage that we're seeing up and down across eastern. I wonder if that Hills video, did that ever come to fruition or not, Aaron? Okay, we're going to check, because Hills was one of the areas that we saw. We had one video from a viewer that took it, started at the Casey's and kind of moved through the town of Hills, and we certainly saw damage there. Wanted to see if we could effort that video as well to take a look and see. Apparently a lot of structural damage in Hills. We are headed there as well. We have a crew that's been in Coralville for a while, now in Hills. Of course, Becky Phelps is in Solon. We're in Wellman and Lone Tree taking a look at damage. We'll be going elsewhere as well across eastern Iowa, Keota, because we've seen numerous spots of damage, not just one isolated area. It is widespread across portions of eastern Iowa. And the storms still continue a bit, although it does look like, again, as you mentioned, for Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and Waterloo, the storms are done. As expected, we're nearing the 6:30 half hour. Which again, thought these storms would be out by 7. It certainly looks like they will be out of the entire viewing area by 7 o'clock. And thankfully right now not hearing of damage across areas of Dubuque County as those storms moved through.
We are getting some reports, though, of damage now in the Mount Vernon and Lisbon areas. Again, as we were tracking those storms moving through that area, we were here with you tracking those. So we've got a crew on the way, it sounds like, and we'll have some further updates here later on. But again, thinking of everybody who's being impacted by these storms directly and indirectly. And continuing to track things here with you as they move through Dubuque County, and for our viewers there in Dubuque County, Jackson, Joe Daviess counties, that's where we still have radar indicated rotation at this time being reported. Again, not including Dubuque itself. Looks like it's moving now off into Joe Daviess County. They've expired that Dubuque County warning specifically. So we're starting to see things kind of clearing out of the area a little bit better for us at this time, but still those severe thunderstorm warnings are in place.
If we go back to graphics 12 for a second, just so that we got that word from the newsroom, here's the view from near Lisbon at the very least. It looks like a sort of a manufactured outbuilding type structure, took some pretty significant damage there. Another view as I flip through the pictures here, just give me a second. Some more roof damage and structure damage to another building there. That one not as severely damaged, but still looking fairly significant, at least in terms of needing repair. So that's our view from Lisbon. We'll obviously be checking in on that area a little bit more too, just to see if there's anything else in the surrounding region.
Yeah, so it sounds like we're still getting plenty of damage reports. Not something we like to hear. Haven't heard any reports of injuries. That is certainly some good news for us. Thank you guys for heeding those warnings and continuing to act accordingly. Still watching again those areas just off towards the Mississippi River, as well as those severe thunderstorm warnings back into Manchester and down through Delaware County, down towards Jones and Cedar County. That able to produce some strong winds anywhere from 70 to 80 miles per hour as well.
Let's go ahead to Hills right now. Brian Tabak, who earlier joined us from Coralville, has now made it to Hills. Brian, we've been hearing that there's been a lot of damage in the Hills area from numerous callers. We had one phoner on. Have you seen a lot of that damage?
Yeah, Joe, I'm near the old Highway 218 and that Casey's right when you head into Hills, and you can see it starting right behind me. There's siding blown off here on there. The siding where it probably came from, the house across the street from it, you can see that completely peeled off, more of that siding on the ground. Everything's kind of covered here with insulation. Neighbors have started to collaborate, trying to find places where they can help. Again, you can see just catastrophic damage. A lot of the apartment complexes, you can see right into their living areas. You can see beds, you can see windows, some of the windows blown out. But again, they're already starting to try and clean up some of that mess. A lot of people picking up debris, trying to find where they are best fit to help. Live in Hills, Brian Tabak, KCRG, TV9 News.
You can still hear me, but I'm curious, any kind of command center set up in Hills for folks that obviously won't be able to stay in those structures that you mentioned?
But other than that, there's not really a command center or anything that I'm seeing at this point. Just a lot of people out looking, assessing that damage, looking to where they'd best be able to help out in this situation.
Appreciate it, Brian. Stay safe, and again, don't get into any of that debris in that, but Hills certainly sounds like it was hard hit.
Yeah, and a lot of times after big impacts like this, there will be something set up, kind of like you were talking about. So I wouldn't be surprised if we hear maybe from the emergency manager or something sometime soon that they're sending volunteers to one particular place. It's great that everybody wants to help, but sometimes it almost causes more of a problem by having everybody everywhere.
Absolutely.
So do continue to look for that information.
Hills among the communities that were pretty hard hit. I mean, I'm looking just through the pictures that we have and just the list of towns that are associated with it. So we had Hills, we had parts of Iowa City, we had parts of Coralville, parts of Tiffin had some damage, near Anamosa, near North Liberty, near Keota, of course, and Wellman have been pretty heavily covered because they had that significant tornado moving through. Lisbon. I mean, it just goes on and on in places that we've had at least reports of damage. Other places have had reports of large hail. Luckily, I mean, not everyone's going to have that sort of significant damage, but I don't think there's a piece of eastern Iowa that these storms didn't really touch, which is really kind of what we were fearing going into the day, and that kind of came true, unfortunately. But we're still holding out hope that injuries are non-existent or limited.
Absolutely, yeah. We haven't heard any word of that, and that's great. That we aren't. Hopefully that stays the case. Again, those that are impacted by this, though, our thoughts are with you. We know that this, anything that's happening to you personally is very impactful, and we are definitely thinking of that. Do want to take away from the radar for a second and go back and touch base on that tornado watch, as we are starting to see some counties kind of getting expired from that area. Let's see if we can find that here for a second. I don't know if that one is actually updating properly or not.
I'm not sure that they've changed it yet.
Looks like they may have just come out with something.
Okay,
so
something fresh.
Yeah, trying to see if we can get that update in. Yeah, there.
A few more counties out. Yeah.
So, seeing a couple more of those counties getting taken out of that area. Again, still does include Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, but for the most part, as we're looking at the radar picture, that threat has moved past our areas. So I'd expect to see that here shortly. And then again, all those storms now off towards the Mississippi River and into the Joe Davies County area. That's what we're still tracking here. Also, that severe thunderstorm warning back into parts of eastern Iowa that could still produce some strong winds, again, back towards Manchester, Dubuque, Maquoketa, Monticello. Those areas could still see the 70-mile-per-hour winds, but as that line continues to really push past, that threat is quickly dying out. So that's, again, very good news.
If you are in a place where the wind is out of the due west at this point, your severe weather threat is over. You're behind the boundary, and basically the boundary is about to get to the Dubuque area right now. That first and second line of storms has really kind of combined at this point, but still have those embedded potential circulations for parts of Jackson and Joe Davies County as it moves to the east. But drier and cooler air will start to work in. We were close to 70 or above it in some spots today. Northwest Iowa right now in Spencer, it is 39. 36 up in Sioux City, so that air is coming here.
Yeah, exactly. Probably already starting to feel a little bit less soupy out there.
Yes.
As those storms have used up a lot of that moisture.
Dew points are
cooler
down.
temperatures, stronger winds, though, all kind of moving in back behind that eventually. As we head into tomorrow morning, again, we've kind of talked about that, where we could see winds in that 40 or 50 mile per hour range still tomorrow morning, not associated with thunderstorms, but just very gusty winds. So that will also kind of hamper that storm cleanup, as that's the mode that we're starting to look ahead to. So do know that is also something that we're continuing to watch here. Again, the reason that we're still on for you right now, we're still tracking that tornado warning for Joe Davies County. 1 inch hail possible with that, as well as that radar indicated rotation with that tornado warning, and that's in effect for us until 6:45 right now. Last noted near Galena, moving northeast about 55 miles per hour. Continuing to
the newest information, it's just really starting to cross the river, which is great news. And the Weather Service, as we were talking, just did remove a whole bunch of counties too from the tornado watch in the Quad Cities. So Cedar Rapids, Iowa City.
Looks like maybe that hasn't quite come through on our graphic yet, but it does look like
most of eastern
Benton,
Iowa.
Buchanan, Cedar, Delaware, Des Moines, Henry, Iowa, Jefferson, Johnson, Jones, Keokuk, Lee, Lynn, Louisa, Muscatine, Van Buren, Washington counties, all will be expired here shortly. So again, that threat kind of diminishing for us at this time. That's certainly good news. If you're in the Cedar Rapids, the Iowa City areas, up towards Waterloo, Fayette, Decorah, any of those areas now behind the strongest of these storms.
We return to the Coralville Strip right now. Libby joins us, KCRG. And Libby, what are you seeing in Coralville? We've seen that there's been a lot of damage in many locations.
Well, Joe, let me start by telling you that getting here to Coralville, it was a pretty smooth trip, but as we got closer to this area, we're along Highway 6 right now, traffic started to slow down. We soon found out that was because a lot of the power is out at these businesses along Highway 6. As you may be able to see behind me, and actually I'm going to step out of the way so my photographer Brad can show you a better image, there's a lot of power poles down along Highway 6, along the railroad tracks that run along Highway 6. And just down Highway 6, we've seen a lot of businesses be affected by this weather here tonight. We saw one, I believe it's a painting company, a lot of their warehouse has been affected. There's a lot of damage there. We saw one side of the warehouse completely torn off by the weather that they saw here this evening, and a lot of their, what I'm assuming is inventory, a lot of their supplies scattered along Highway 6. Again, as you may be able to see, these poles down along the railroad tracks, and there are many vehicles along this way that I'm assuming Iowa DOT, law enforcement, as you may be able to see, other people as a part of these crews that are working to help protect these travelers along Highway 6 and eventually, hopefully, get the power up along this very, very busy street. Now, like I said, traffic is very slow the closer you get to this area. That's because they have it blocked off, obviously. The power is out, and so are the traffic lights. And so they're trying to keep people safe. There's a road that runs behind a lot of the hotels that are along Highway 6. And so that's what they're working to do. Again, working to keep people safe. This is just the initial reaction, the initial images that we are seeing as we just got here several minutes ago. And we will continue to keep you updated on that. But for now, live in Coralville, Libby Randall, KCRG, TV9 News.
Libby, great report in a very unfortunate situation, and just painting that picture of the poles down, and suddenly you have no power, you have debris covering the roads, you have no lights, you have all sorts of things that's going to snarl that traffic. Also have reports from the Benton County EMA that they are reporting damage to machine sheds northwest of Vinton along Highway 218. Also on the Benton-Buchanan County line damage, the EMA, the directors thought that it was straight line winds of about 70 to 80 that caused some damage in that area too, which is very plausible, especially that secondary line that moved through had some really powerful winds.
Yeah, absolutely. And, going back to the report that Libby showed us, we've got things covering the roads, things covering the railroad tracks. That's going to impact things. And again, live power lines oftentimes. So So
what does it tell you? Don't go out tonight. Our crews are out. We are showing you the damage, unfortunately, that's out there. That's out there, but we're doing it as safe as we can. We don't need a lot of people out there doing that.
Exactly. Don't add to the plethora of people out there and put yourself in any harm or hamper those first responder efforts either.
We saw that after everyone's mind thinks about the derecho in terms of major events. We saw that afterwards. There was lines of cars all over Cedar Rapids metro area as people are trying to clean up and get to their homes. So if you are the lucky one that didn't have damage today, we'll bring it to you here on TV9. You don't have to go out and look for it yourself.
Yep, we'll have all the latest updates.
All right, I understand now. In fact, let's take a look at this, and then we'll take a look. This is in Tipton. Some damage in Tipton. Again, we're seeing a lot of outbuilding damage. Obviously, the side and the roof kind of taken off of those structures.
That's something we commonly see is those wide spans roofs, machine shed style things or anything like that have those very wide spanses, or things that have those big doors like a garage door. Those are areas that typically fail in strong winds or tornadoes. That's why they're not good shelters. That's why we say get to a sturdy shelter, get to a safe shelter. Don't just find a building because things like this can happen.
If you want to go to Max 2 real quick, unless we have something else in the queue. There we go. Storm reports over the last 6 hours. So this is the overview. A lot of hail reports today, especially as the storms initially developed. They really tapped into the energy we had in the atmosphere. And as they moved into eastern Iowa, they moved into the area where we had the wind shear. We talked about these terms a little bit this week leading up to it. And that's when they acquired those tornadic characteristics. So you can kind of see a line that separates where it was just large hail and when the tornado reports started. And unfortunately, it's basically the western edge of our viewing area as things started to move to the northeast. Let's take a quick look at how much, or the number of reports, at least preliminarily, about a 200 report day for the state of Iowa. many of which were hail, but several of which were also wind damage, funnels. Unfortunately, we have so many reports it kind of cuts off there before we get to the tornado reports, but quite a few, and we'll obviously have to wait on the National Weather Service to give us a better picture of what type of tornado tracks, how strong they were officially, how many tornadoes exactly took place in Iowa today, but the answer is at least several.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. You know, these storm surveys, they will take time.
Yep. Especially when you have higher end events like this,
Exactly.
because there's more to cover, and so it takes a little bit longer. So that what was likely a long track tornado from near Ottumwa to near Kyoto and Wellman in Washington County, I mean, that spans dozens of miles.
Yeah,
they have a lot to cover.
They've got to get out and they've got to survey that entire area. Think about what we were just saying, where the roads are blocked, power's out. They have to get around those places. When they're doing those storm surveys, they're having to, oftentimes these are people from our National Weather Service office in the Davenport area. They're coming into territory that they're not familiar with, so they have to figure out what was in this area before, so they can give it a proper EF rating, because that EF scale is a damage-based scale. So again, all things that go into that storm survey, it may be the end of the weekend or early next week before we have a good indication of all of everything that unfolded here this afternoon.
Yeah, you can see that path of that funnel cloud report initially near Ottumwa, and then just tornado reports all along the line. I'm going to assume, if not that entire path is one continuous path, it's going to be close to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be at most 2 or 3 along that whole path, just because of the reports we had and the pictures and video we've seen of that tornado. It just sort of maintained that characteristic the whole time.
Yeah, we showed you that video of that large and damaging tornado on the ground earlier. That's kind of that path that we were tracking. Again, for those impacted still now, obviously plenty of damage out there. We also have over 6,000 people or customers without power in the Delaware County area, down to the South Keokuk County, over 2,000 people without power, into Cedar County, 1,300, 1,500 in Jackson County. So again, a lot of reports coming in of power outages, even about 8,000 in the Lynn County area. So even as those storms have moved through, again, it takes time for everybody to get out there, and especially something like this that's kind of widespread across multiple parts of the area. Maybe crews can normally kind of call in help from another company or something like that, but because it's such a widespread event, it may take a little bit of extra time. Also, the warning that you see on your screen that includes parts of Delaware, western Dubuque, and northern Jones County, that actually is no longer in effect. On very busy days like this, occasionally a glitch slips through the system, and so that one has since expired. Very few warnings are actually in effect still for even any the edges of the TV9 viewing area, just that area near Joe Davies County. Dubuque even has exited the severe weather possibility, but there has been at least one report of perhaps wind damage not related to the storm now near Dubuque.
And we are hearing those gusts very strong, as we talked about, behind the system as well. I would like to, at this point in time, thank you guys. You were fantastic. Great coverage. Also, I want to thank our radio partners that were joining us. Many ways to receive severe weather information. How many times do we say that? Thanks to our radio partners as well for being there for us.
Yeah, thank you guys for trusting us here throughout the afternoon, throughout this evening. It's been a long one, but hey, we've made it through together. So we're happy that we're out on the other side, and we're gonna send it over to Jim and Beth for a further look on what all has been unfolding for us here this afternoon.
Thank you.
They have done a great job this afternoon. And of course, the storm is now, as you saw, so quickly moving. It went through areas very quickly, but the path of damage in eastern Iowa is widespread. I mean, you could start from Ottumwa to Kyoto to Wellman, then into the Iowa City area, and then on into Solon. It's just a large area that has seen damage, but once again, we do want to underline the fact that we have not heard of any injuries, serious or otherwise, and we are hoping that remains the case tonight.
And that could be due in large part because we had so much lead time. I mean, I think Kai put out the first alert internally on Monday that this was potentially coming. Now, live on the air, if you've been following our coverage this afternoon in into the evening. You saw we were live on the air as one of those storms moved through Solon. What a terrifying image that was. We have a reporter live in Solon to show you the damage that storm left behind. KCRG TV 9's Becky Phelps joins us now live from Solon. Becky?
Beth, Jim, we are here in front of what is the most significant damage we've seen here in Solon. It is a tree that's fallen on a house. You can see this is the tree, the base of the tree, and you can see the roots here have been pulled up and it's fallen onto a house right next to it. You can see the branches going into the side of the house. The siding's damaged. Branches fallen onto the roof over there, leaning on half of the garage here. And a little bit off to the side, one of the garage doors has appeared to blown off. It's sitting in the driveway. This is, again, the most significant damage that we've seen. We've also seen the roofs of a hardware store and a Mexican restaurant blown off as well, and that left some significant damage and some roofing laying on the ground behind in a parking lot. I talked to the mayor a little bit earlier, and he said that he's grateful that, again, no injuries so far have been reported, and he's asking for prayers for the families who have seen some damage and room to let first responders work. Live in Solon, Becky Phelps, KCRG TV 9 News.
Do want to share with you that video that was captured live from our city cam. It was amazing as this storm was going through Solon.
I mean, look at that. It's a pea soup. That color is just unsettling. And what we understand now is as that storm was moving through, you can see on the right side, actually a roof was peeled off in that part of Solon. And the good news, as Jim, you mentioned, we have not heard reports of people injured or people killed. We have heard that some animals have been killed on farms. But this storm, as it moved through Solon, watching it happen in real time, a lot of it is disguised because the rain was falling, so we can't see much depth there. But you can tell that storm was ominous and did cause, look at that, there's the portion of the roof that fell on its neighbor there in Solon. We have also heard from Johnson County Emergency Management. They are aware that there have been damage reports in multiple parts of Johnson County, and they are checking it out right now. I mean, this is what they do for a living, is respond to disasters and emergencies of this kind. So if you're in an area that needs help, certainly reach out. But if it's more mild and you haven't seen anyone yet, they're still making their way through the county, is our understanding.
Well, and as you saw in that video, I mean, from the beginning of the storm impact through the majority of the rain and the wind going through, it was a period of 45 seconds to a minute 15. It was
so
very
fast.
quickly.
Yes.
And that gave people very little time to seek shelter, which is why the alerts were on all this afternoon, because we knew it was going to come through very quickly. And we did see that a lot in the Iowa City area.
So right near Iowa City, you know, if you're not familiar with Hills, it's almost like a little enclave in the midst of Iowa City, about population, I believe, roughly 1,000. Also, obviously, in Johnson County. We understand Hills has an incredible amount of damage. KCRG TV 9's Brian Tabak has been in the community for the last 30 or so minutes, checking it out. Brian, what can you share with us?
Devastating, Beth. That's the word I would use right now when you see what is going on around me. If you look at the house behind me, you can see right into what looks like a living room of some sort where people would gather. All around me, you've got debris, whether that's wood, metal, it's insulation, probably from one of the houses. The house to the left of me, the entire top level is gone. Nick, if you want to go ahead and pan over there, I can't move over there because of all the debris around me. But this is what you are seeing. People have now started to work together, trying to start picking up some of this debris. You can see, Nick, if you want to pan to the right here, people are starting to move some of that siding, getting friends, family all together, moving all of that to their front of their lawns here. But again, the amount of damage is absolutely devastating. Again, debris everywhere. People have started to board up their windows. You can see cars, smashed windows on those cars. I was speaking to a gentleman earlier this afternoon who he's here visiting, but he's helping his family find pictures that were blown away in the storm, those valuable things that you really just cannot replace once they're gone. He's finding them on people's front lawns. So again, devastating is that word that I'll use. Live in Hills, Brian Tabak, KCRG TV 9 News.
All right, thank you, Brian. We are able to talk to the mayor of Hills. Tim Kemp is joining us by phone. Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us. Can you give us some idea of the extent of the damage in your community right now?
Well, I think your reporter covered it, that we have extensive damage on some of the homes on the west side of town. A lot of trees down, a lot of branches, siding off, fences down. We're going to be working to help with the cleanup of that, get some dumpsters down so neighbors in the area can get rid of all the debris as quickly as possible, open up the streets, which are littered with trash, too.
Mayor Kemp, there in Hills, it's remarkable when we see the images of the damage that we're not hearing reports of injuries. We're not having fatalities, at least at this juncture. What do you attribute that to, if you can, in preparing for the storm?
Well, I think people are well aware of what was going on today and what was going to happen today, so I think people were semi-prepared. This came up very quickly and didn't last very long, but I think people were ready to take shelter as soon as the winds picked up, but we're certainly on alert anyway. Thanks to the news and you guys and people providing us with updates of where the storm was heading, even though it came upon us very quickly.
Mayor Kemp, we're looking at some of the video of one of the neighborhoods that's badly hit, and you're seeing residents picking up the pieces of what was left behind. What's your concerns? We're heading into the nightfall. So often you're a little worried about people taking advantage of some of these people. What will you be doing as far as police force and protection is when it starts getting darker?
Well, we have opened up our emergency center so people could stay at the community center if they needed to. Red Cross is on their way down here to help with anything that they can help out with. And we certainly have the presence of the Sheriff's Department from Johnson County that is our law enforcement, and they've been heavily in the area now, and I'm sure will continue to be throughout the
Mayor Kemp, for people who are not familiar with the emergency center that you mentioned, you're standing up a shelter for people to head to in the community if they don't have a safe place to stay tonight. Where exactly is that emergency center in your community?
It's our community center, downtown Main Street. We had it converted so that it could handle emergencies just like this if needed. I think, though, that most of the homes that we saw were still full, and so people will hopefully be able to stay in their homes tonight. Those who aren't certainly know we're available, but they probably also have friends and neighbors that can help them out too. So we're hoping the need won't be great.
Mayor, you were in the city as the storm was hitting. Can you give me your impression of what happened? I mean, did you get enough of an alert? Did the storm actually catch you by surprise, or do you think most of the people in your city were pretty well prepared?
I think people were pretty much prepared. I think, again, we knew what was coming on, and we know in Iowa anything can happen. I think it came up quickly. We didn't have, a lot of warning, and it was over so quickly, too. So hopefully everybody was already in their basements or in a secure place by the time it hit, because as one of your reporters said, it lasted maybe, 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes tops, and then it was over, gone, and relatively calm.
Mayor Kemp, has your community faced damage of the sort before? Tell me a little bit about what happened there on August 10th of 2020 with the derecho.
Well, we were on the southern end of that, and we had a lot of tree damage. But back in, I think it was 98, we had the straight line winds, which did do excessive damage to the community and houses and things like that. And so, again, living in Iowa, used to having that kind of thing be a weather concern, and so I think people take that seriously. And certainly, like I said, we had sirens going on and off throughout the afternoon and evening, so people were already on alerts and high alert, and hopefully nobody was caught off guard. We didn't have any serious injuries that I heard about, and so that's a blessing right there.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We may check in with you, of course, tomorrow and in the days ahead, so we appreciate your time, and we're still watching this live picture of one of your neighborhoods cleaning up, and we wish them well as well, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you very much.
I got to admit, I look back. I was in Iowa City after the tornado hit the downtown area in 2006 of Iowa City. And you sit there and you think about how much damage can happen in such a short period of time. And once again, Iowa City having to face that once again.
And it really, Iowa City, Hills, Coralville, Solon, we're seeing damage concentrated in Johnson County, but we don't want to think that if you're not in Johnson County, we're not paying attention and we're not mobilizing crews there. We are doing the best that we can with the resource that we have. We do have another reporter standing by live in Coralville, TV9's Libby Randall. Libby, I noticed when we talked to you earlier, there's railroad tracks behind you. I believe those there are the IAIS, the Iowa Interstate Railroad, and that is an active railroad that is obviously not accessible right now.
That's absolutely right, Beth. As we got closer to town, we noticed that there was a huge stretch along Highway 6 that was closed off. And as we got closer, we noticed why. Not only is the power out along a generous portion of Highway 6, but as you may be able to see behind me, there are power poles and power lines down, and they go across the railroad. So those are completely cut off. I'm going to step out of the way to give you a little bit of a better view as to what the scenario is here, again, in Coralville along Highway 6. There's a lot of Iowa Department of Transportation vehicles around here. I've seen Mid-American vehicles, and I've also seen law enforcement vehicles stationed up, again, along this stretch of Highway 6. They are redirecting traffic because, of course, as with power being out, so are the traffic lights. The traffic is being directed behind a stretch of hotels along Highway 6. We are, for reference, in front of Comfort Suites. Now, we didn't get the chance to talk to anybody that are currently staying in any of these hotels right now, but again, like I said, we are in front of Comfort Suites. I can tell that the power is out here as well. I am assuming there was a crowd gathered in front. I'm assuming they are people that are staying there right now, hoping just to get out of that space for a little bit. But as we continue to see traffic being redirected, we also see several other businesses that were hit, and the debris that is a result in so many places across Johnson County and other parts of our viewing area. We talked to some people that live about, they said 2.5-3 miles north of where I'm standing right now. They said they saw debris that they believe came from this area. That's 3 miles down the road. And like the mayor from Hills said, you know, this only lasted about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 3 minutes for some places, but that's how far that debris was able to go. We will continue to keep you updated from here in Coralville, but for now, live in Coralville, Libby Randall, KCRG TV 9 News.
Okay, our thanks to Libby. And once again, in Johnson County, the latest report, and it is increasing repeatedly, is about 5,000 customers are without power. We do know that utility crews were ramping up for this to restore power. But get this, if you look at the numbers, more than half of Delaware County customers have no power. A third in Keokuk County, a third in Van Buren County without power, a third in Cedar County with 2,800 customers without power, about 5,600 in Lynn County. So when we're talking about the damage, we're also talking about the damage of that infrastructure as well, and that is widespread. So we do know the crews are going to be out there, but for some people, they may have to be patient and wait for that power to be restored. We're kind of used to that.
We are. 10 days in the derecho of 2020, and I hope yours is 10 minutes max, if even that. If you have video or pictures you want to share with us, and you can do so safely, the best way is through our website at the very top on the YouTube section. We are not going home. We are not done with reporting on this story, even before the 10 p.m. newscast. I know you wouldn't watch the Hawkeye Women, but we're going to be at the top of the hour bringing you continuous updates as we check out the damage from around the area and keep checking to make sure there are no injuries and no fatalities from today's storms.
Thank you so much for joining us for our extended coverage of this storm as it swept through eastern Iowa. We've got you covered also.